Yes, he likes rocking the Echo, the Doomfist. And so Fanshawe just coming out strong in this comp. Becker, though, Becker is the team to be watching tonight because they have something to prove. An unfortunate turn of events happened earlier this semester, and it came out that Becker actually will unfortunately be closing its doors at the end of this year. So those, I'm sure those people involved with the program are going to be looking for other opportunities to get involved. But here and now, they are surefire, ready to get into this game because they have something to prove. They want to win, right? This is their final chance in a championship match for Becker.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And not only that, but in multiple interviews throughout the season, we've seen players from the Gladiators division and Champions division say that their team was memeing earlier in the season to hide strats. That's a very popular thing in esports, concealing your strats, especially when you see a team, or you feel like you will later on in the season, maybe in the playoffs, maybe in the final if you're Becker in your Fanshawe game regular season. So maybe they held out in their regular season matchup. Fanshawe got the 3-0 win, but a similar story happened where Midland got 3-0'd by Boise State and Gladiators 2 times this regular season, and they were intentionally hiding strats and then really gave them a run for their money first round of playoffs. So we could have a game on our hands, Nuke. It's going to be a best of 7 starting on Busan tonight. Man, I am pumped. I really hope Becker just comes out on this last dance and they give us a show to remember.
I'm sure they will. I'm almost 100% sure, Yelk. What reason would they have not to, right? And when you look at the rosters of both teams, both rosters dominated by juniors and sophomores specifically, a lot of the Becker roster, looking for degrees in esports. I'm looking down the roster list, and esports management, game design, game art, esports management, they're all there. And giving all of their chips into esports. You look and you flip the script on the Fanshawe side, and a lot of their majors as well, very esports heavy and related. So all of these names that you're seeing tonight will be names to remember. Yelk, I also wanted to bring up, you brought up a great point that finals are a best of 7 format, right? And if we look at that format, it's going to be this process: control, hybrid, assault, escort, repeat. We're going back to control, hybrid, escort, and control.
Yeah, and we have seen games go the full length. Last night was a gauntlet of Overwatch. Nuke, how late were you up casting last night? Oh man, already slipping up.
Yelk, I've turned into an old man. I'm only 25, but at this point, I might as well be 40 because I've been going to bed at 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock every night. Last night, it was very responsible of me. I'm a respectable young man, but I was in bed in the early hours of 4:30 in the morning, and I tell you what, Septed. I'm hearing this from our production. They're saying, "Oh, you went to bed."
Sleep is a myth here at the NECC, especially when we're in playoffs, especially when we're in finals mode, like these two teams are now. Busan, City Center, we've got Fanshawe rocking the double bubble comp. This is what they're pretty much famous on in Champions Division. Matt on this Echo is really something to watch. There's going to be a lot of work that Xavius is going to have put out for him just to take care of Magic Otter and limit what Fanshawe can do.
And I while you said that they are comfortable with this double bubble, I think that they said that they are most comfortable with the brawl comp. So I'm interested to see if they're going to switch that up, as Sacred End is going to get the first pick on Magic Carter. Magic Carter trying to get the dive, but not going to find the target to create the value. And we're seeing Becker now on point. They push the aggression, and point's going to unlock in 2 seconds, and it looks like it's going to be theirs first.
That first fight from Becker was so textbook how you need to play brawl into this comp. They really just stepped right up to the front door of the choke, but now they overextend. Those DPS are beyond the shield of Spark, and now he has to backpedal the point. Shield cracking, Matt rolling in, cycling those cooldowns well, trying to take care of this main take, and Spark goes down. Nate falls as well, not able to get that mech back in time, and that's going to be the flip. Not even the flip, the first take for Fanshawe. They get back in the mix before the point even unlocked.
I'm actually kind of impressed that they were able to push their aggression to get back before the point locked. It seemed as though that, Becker was there. They were sitting on point, they posted a tent, and it looked like they were camping. And unfortunately, Fanshawe got in and made sure that made short work of the Becker front line.
Matt coming through on the copy. Reinhardt connects the pin and the shatter onto 5. Swinging through now, and they're able to take down 3 more from Becker. Little slam for some swag points at the end, but Matt had that coffee up so quick, nobody on Becker seemed ready.
Slam for swag indeed. I need a shirt that says Matt slams for swag, because he had 2 Earth Shatters the entire time. That second one came out and he's like, I'm just gonna waste it. We don't need it.
Yeah, and he's already sitting at 25%, so he's looking to have that ready for the end game, but now Ultimate's getting popped by Sacred End on the side of Becker. Just posturing up here on this high ground, challenged by Magic Otter, who's got that Primal Rage. He can really start to disrupt this brawl conflict. They start to make any moves too close. Spark moves in with a lot of confidence, like he has the Earth Shatter, but everyone on Fanshawe seems to know he doesn't. Diva Bomb over the top just zones him off. Trev does fall. To a headshot from Sacred, and Xavius able to find the kill on the Moon, but Magic Otter making a name for himself here for Fanshawe. Does get that Primal Rage kill onto Sacred End. Should not be enough though. The Reaper's still alive, should be enough to deal with Magic Otter, and there it is, Xavius getting that kill, and Becker getting their first flip of the match.
Yeah, the Reaper switch from Becker, very smart decision, as Magic Otter's tried to get value on this Winston, and we've not really seen it come out. Every time he dives, he doesn't have the resources really to get back or survive long enough. And Xavius now sitting, having his ultimate after the switch. This is going to be a tough retake from Fanshawe.
And I love what Becker did right there. They just pushed the aggression with that Coalescence and the Death Blossom. You see Xavius just getting right in the mix, popping that Death Blossom before Fanshawe had a chance to even set their footing.
Yeah, and it showed through. Now Becker sitting at 32%. Fanshawe did get a clean 80% on the first take, like we were talking about earlier. So that's the beauty of Control. It's this back and forth play, as we're gonna see Nate get the headshot on Moon, taking him out. Matt looking for the short pin, not gonna find it. Is the Earth Shatter gonna come through at 70%? It's not looking very good for Matt. He's gonna get some reinforcement from Magic Otter, but it's not going to work. Sacred End, once again, this is the 3rd or 4th time I'm seeing him get the headshot on Trev's Tracer, and maybe that's a for sure sign for the switch.
Not quite at last fight territory yet, but Becker College did expend everything to deal with the copy from Matt. Fanshawe coming up with 4 ultimates. Magic Otter almost with that Primal Rage as well. Going in for the flank grab is Moon, and that'll lock up the main tank Spark. Looking like the Pulse Bomb was eaten there by Nate. That's going to take a lot of damage off of, it looked like Spark, but he will fall in the end to Eefy. Just too much follow-up on the backside of that Graviton Surge. Magic Otter now rumbling in the jungle on his way to point. Coalescence gets popped again by Securin, but this one certainly will not be enough to keep up Xavius. He does go down to Magic Otter. Point should flip, but Nuke, we're at final fight.
We are at final fight. It is going to take them, probably 10 to 15 seconds to get back. If Becker's able to retake this, I don't think Fanshawe is going to have the time to get back, unless if they switch to, like, that ball, right? They just go dive straight to point. But Xavius done a tremendous job in this first map of keeping the tanks pressured. Magic Otter and Moon have not had any breathing room with him on the front line. Magic sitting at a cool 5% as the Death Blossom's coming out from Xavius, and the Nape is going to get a kill of his own. The point is going to go back in favor of Becker with only 5 seconds left on the clock.
Magic Otter dying at the end too. Maybe was their only chance to contest, but Trev does get a foot on the point just in the nick of time. He'll have 3 seconds to get back there, but Xavius was waiting for the recall. Takes care of that. Acrio able to get a last second touch as well. Fanshawe just does not want to say die here. Eventually it seems like overtime will tick down. Shatter gets airborne, but Magic Otter not able to get on the other side of that shield.
Oh, Matt with the massive Earth Shatter on point!
He's just trying to do everything in his power with that copy. Landed the pin, landed the shatter, but no one else on Fanshawe there to deal damage, and that is Becker taking round 1 in very close fashion.
I'm telling you right now, Yelk, if anyone was there to follow up on Matt's Earth Shatter, that would have been a Fanshawe first point. He got the shatter out, and since there was no follow-up, there's only so much you can do as a solo Reinhardt in that situation. And unfortunately, there wasn't any follow-up, so he got the shatter off, it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Matt's seriously doing everything he can. Right now, leading the lobby in Earth Shatter stuns, playing DPS.
I mean, what else are you going to expect from Matt's Echo? He said, let's pick Reinhardt today. We're gonna shatter a lot, and that's his choice. But he's gonna have to switch it up, because as we're seeing on the second point of Busan. There's no Reinhardt's in sight. Spark's gonna make the switch over to Orisa, not a very popular pick right now, and Nape is gonna make the switch over to Sigma, while Magic Otter and Moon are gonna be playing Ball and Diva in their respective characters.
Sanctuary is where this double shield poke comp can shine a bit more, but Fanshawe opts for a different look. Choosing some mobility tanks really can set their engagement around any point of Becker's composition, but if they stay compact like that, Sacred Ed had that sightline on the mat. Matt did not stand a chance, not even with the help of the Mercy Pocket, who falls. Does get the res off in time to get Matt back in the mix, but still, you would love to have your Mercy for this fight. Magic Otter doesn't get enough heals, goes down as well to Xavius, looking like Becker posturing to take this first point. Now they've got both those shields set up. It looks like a fortress by the center drum.
Okay, hold on. Are they running Brig with no Reinhardt?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just for a stun because they know Fanshawe loves to run at least one dive tank. Maybe the Brig stun can just keep him in there for a little bit longer. Chained with the stun from Xavius, I think they're just looking to delete the main tank and then limit the DPS.
And the pull from Spark, that's a very good point. Magic Otter on the ball could be an absolute menace, but if Spark's able to get the pull and stop his momentum, we don't see it come out though. As he now is on point, they are going to decide to stun others, and the field's going to come out on point. Becker looking to defend, but really stopping Fanshawe in their tracks.
Doing a great job using that amplification matrix from Secure, and that's just going to delay Fanshawe's push. Now they're finding themselves in a very tricky spot. The Nano Visor around the outside from Trev has got to find Secure and finds Nape as well. Magic Otter cleans up to himself, and this is going to be Fanshawe steamrolling right back onto the point after that amplification matrix. We're going to get an easy flip here at 50%.
Trev, bruv, that ult, the nano was just so clean. It was crisp. However, he popped it and then he rotated, right? When he rotated around, he lost a couple of seconds, but it ended up not mattering because he was able to take out the BAP field in time, get a couple of picks, and create the window for opportunity to get Fanshawe on point and brawling out.
Yeah, those off angles really come in handy going up against double shields. Not quite as mobile as they used to be. Not like a Reinhardt either, who can just change angles on the dime. Bomb coming in over the back, finds a pair. Moon engaging this fight early. That should be all Fanshawe need to close out this fight.
Yeah, Fanshawe has already gotten 4 picks. It's looking like all she wrote for this fight. They're now sitting at 38%. Magic looking to push this advantage and doing well. Matt following up, taking out Nape, and that's going to be a hard reset for Becker.
And this is where the Fanshawe comp does really start to shine. We do see a lot of ultimates coming online from Becker, so this fight certainly could go their way, but it's much harder for them to engage onto this point than it is for Fanshawe, and their backline has to play very compact in this transition to make sure that they don't get caught out by Magic Otter and Matt, maybe Trev on an off angle. Supercharger gets popped to start this fight off here from Spark. Stun goes in onto Magic Otter, but he manages to lay those mines down. Xavius looking like he's in an awfully uncomfortable situation. Securin does fall as well. That's a little less healing on the side for Becker, but Nape pops that flux, comes up empty, but it did make that Mercy just lingering up in the air. Gunned down by the High Noon. Xavius finding the Echo copy as well. Take care of Matt while you can, because he's off to the skies at 26 HP before he finds that kill onto Xavius. Fanshawe does not want to say die in this fight.
Yeah, Fanshawe looking very strong and doing a great job of keeping everyone alive. Trev popping the nano, or popping the visor again, but he is going to get picked by Spark. Spark said, no siree, Bob. Matt's going to pick out Securin, and wow, this may look, Matt has been on this point for a hot minute. Someone take this man out, get him out of here, because he is posting a tent and not leaving.
Becker, though, they're not out of this one yet. They've got ultimates coming online. Sacred comes in with the Bob, but it's not going to be in time, I don't think, as Trev finds 2 of that Helix, and Matt finds the Bob in very quick fashion. Echo can deal with that awfully quickly with the stickies and the focusing beam, and just like that, Fanshawe on a different comp on an open map, they tie this one up 1 apiece.
Very good point. You know, it was a lot more of an open map than what we saw in the first round, and Fanshawe looking very strong, and in the soldier pick, Trev hitting the headshots where he needed, and he had, I think, 3 visors in that last round, which is a lot for a control map. So if they're going to be able to find the value, you know, we're seeing some switches come out. It looks like they're switching up comps every round, which I love. You can see the versatility in all of the teams, and that's what it means to be playing Overwatch. You have to switch up the comps depending on the map type and what strengths you can play to.
You're so right, Nuke. I mean, versatility is what got these teams here. As good as Matt might be on Echo and Magic Otter on Winston, this is not a one-trick pony type team, and neither is Becker. We've already seen both teams really changing up their tank lines drastically as the tanks beginning to clash here. Magic Otter jumps out in front of the Earth Shatter race, 56% to 36. Becker has to be careful they don't get caught unawares by this Shatter. It looked like Spark made a great move there, just pushing the aggression, using his shield till it was about to crack, and just backing up Fanshawe, but they collect themselves and they go back in. Matt slams into the back line, charges some shields, and the dismembered front line. Spark falls, as does Nate to Trev. It doesn't look like this high ground will be held from Becker, but they managed to take down Magic Otter on the back end of this fight.
Yep, and that is looking like an easy Fanshawe point as Matt, Securin is actually going to take out Matt, the McCree. Sacred End looking spicy.
Yeah, I mean, Matt was getting hyper aggressive there, to say the least. This window is very
questionable
from Securin. Not sure a lot of Baptiste would have used that one. Sacred End comes around to the opposing high ground. The catwalk side pops out High Noon, and that is going to zone Fanshawe up there for just enough time to take down Magic Otter. Matt comes in with a head full of steam, slamming down onto Sacred End, but not able to find that kill. Instead, it's going to be Yushi dealing the final blow to Matt.
And in the midst of that chaos, we did see Becker take point. Fanshawe only able to hold on to point for 17 seconds, not able to push the advantage as much as they would like, I'm sure. We saw in the first control map, they were able to hold it for 80%. Now as we're on the third, that's not looking good. Massive Earth Shatter coming out from either side. We're here in the High Noon. Magic swinging for his life. Matt looking for the dunk. Not gonna find anyone though, but doesn't matter. Fanshawe's pushing the aggression, getting to point, and they have a lot more members alive.
And Spark just felt like he had to make a play there with that Shatter, but just everyone on Fanshawe staring him down. Everything else on Becker stunned to the floor from Magic Otter. And now Spark has to play this next fight without the Shatter. He would love to have that one back. Instead, it's just Sacred End with the High Noon, Xavius with the Death Blossom. In fact, they're coming up on 5 vaults nuke. Maybe they're going to be fine as the Diva Bomb flies in. Able to find Acrio. Death Blossom looking to find some more, but it's going to be pinned out by Magic Otter, but it does not matter. Becker has done the damage. They've done the job. Rolling onto the point, looking to flip with around 40% to their favor.
Spark, the ignition that this team needs, and the front line that everyone loves. Putting out the damage and throwing up the shield when needed. I love this Reinhardt. We've seen it all season. I believe even earlier this season, he got Player of the Week, and it's showing why he deserves to be in this final set.
Definitely a bona fide main tank here. Locks in on this chokeway, and Magic Otter is not able to find his footing through that one. This amplification matrix will amp up the High Noon that finds Trev. That one shot looked very clean, but we all know it just locks on, but still very nice little dopamine hit from Overwatch right there.
I mean, it was a body shot, but when you got the field there, it really doesn't matter. If they have a little bit of damage off the top, you're gonna be taking them out. That's all. Nate, playing on the Diva. Interested to see if we're going to see a bomb in the last second. The beat's coming out, the fields are dropping, and you know what time it is. It's High Noon. Oh, Matt is finding a lot, and Fanshawe just cleaning clock here on third point.
And they're only going to use 3 ultimates in that retake, where Becker had a lot of answers. They were almost able to take care of Magic Otter on the engage, but he just got loose, and then Moon had time to send out that Graviton Surge, which of course the DPS capitalized on. Now Fanshawe, they're going to have to fend off this point for another 40 seconds to win the map.
The grab was massive. It caught 4, and it was for sure the reason why they won that engagement. Magic, though, sitting at another Earth Shatter, and this could be huge. Wow, he drops the shield just enough for the Diva to get caught. The field's going up, and we're seeing the ultimate come out from Matt. Again, he's going to fall immediately. We're going to hear the Kamehameha come out from Effie, and they are pushing out on point.
Becker can't let this one get away. They fall awfully low, but Securin, he did such a great job healing them through. It does go down to Trev. Fanshawe not out of this one yet, just like we've said every fight so far. Magic Otter taking down Sacred End there. He rolls in and melees down Nape as well. This is a Wrecking Ball who just knows how to take control of a game. Goes in for the boot and a slam. That's going to knock Becker off the point. 2 seconds left. No contest seeming to come through. They just have to make it through this overtime. Taking care of Securin one more time. And the final contest coming through from the Becker DPS. But Nuke, I think this one is all done but the crying, as Fanshawe and a fantastic final fight. Are we able to take care of Becker? But Matt has fallen to gravity. The Diva Bomb stalls out the point a little bit more. This is still anyone's game.
I was gonna say, hold on, Yelk. Hold on. Don't put the chicken before the egg. They're still here. 3 of them there. We're seeing a lot of versatility with the ball, with the Diva. Oh, and the massive, that's awesome. On point, it's gonna get stopped. Sacred Edge gonna take out Matt. Trev responding on Nate. No one's touching, and Becker's gonna take the point.
That was insane. I'm out of breath. I'm sure everyone on both teams is either. That was a winded fight. The contest from Becker, especially when that Diva Bomb came in over the top, that just stalled out the point for like 3 seconds more.
It was enough.
It was enough. You saw 4 members of Becker get back in that time, and they just swept the point away from Fanshawe, who had used all their ultimates. A fantastic end to Busan and Nuke. We just saw Fanshawe lose a map for the 2nd time all spring.
That's all. That's the 2nd map. And, you know, maybe it's just a Busan issue. Maybe not. But if I know one thing for sure, I know Fanshawe currently either really angry or completely shaking in their boots because Becker is coming out swinging.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I think the story of that game was on the open maps, Fanshawe looks dominant. But when it starts to be a Rhine versus Rhine type of map, Spark is really pushing the aggression. He's walking right up to Fanshawe, holding that shield, getting the most out of this Rhine kit, taking space away. And it's really limiting how aggressive this Fanshawe frontline can be. And they love to be aggressive. It's not like themselves right now.
You also have to consider, while it's amazing that we're seeing that from Spark, a testament to how good your front line is how much your back line can stay alive. And Becker doing a great job of that. They're keeping their supports alive. When we're seeing these picks come out from either side, and that whole first map, it was a lot of DPS on DPS picks. And from there, it would just snowball the fights. However, if we see those supports stay alive and keep their front line alive, then they're going to win the fights, especially in these brawl comps.
Yeah, and we can just kind of see the duality of support players too. One team, Becker, choosing to run the Baptiste, the tried and true, pretty much all spring been a staple in the meta, and Fanshawe opting for the Moira Lucio on their rushdown comp. Moira did just get a buff, but Nuke, I'm interested in your take. Do you think the 2 seconds that Moira gets on that healing/damage orb is enough to out-tempo a Baptiste?
So I don't think it's enough to out-tempo a Baptiste, but I do think that it does have a lot of value. That buff was massive for Moira. A couple of my players on my team, we were sitting in our discussion, sort of in a VOD review talking about it, right? And when you throw out that orb, as long as it doesn't get eaten by a Diva, there's only a 1 second cooldown from the time the orb ends to the time you can throw out another orb, which is massive, especially when you have to worry about heal management with Moira. If you're able to get those orbs in great positions in those small spaces, it's going to have the value that you need.
Yeah, and we do see Nape picking a lot of that Diva, and that might be helping them. That is the team that's picking the Baptiste. They figure if they're going to be going up against Moira, just like you said, that defensive matrix is probably the most valuable cooldown they could choose to have.
Yeah. The defense matrix is, I mean, this is a tale as old as time. This is why BAP is considered one of the better healer heroes. All it takes is that defense matrix down. You're keeping your team alive. But like you said, that nerf was a huge hit. Now instead of 20%, you got the 10% health. And as soon as that drops, that's what you're looking for in team fights. You're throwing down the battlefield to stay alive. But if it gets focused like we saw earlier from Trev's amazing soldier gameplay when he was hitting those tactical Pfizers, he was able to take those out very early. And then from there, it only takes 2 visor hits after they take out your lamp. So you're just sitting ducks at that point.
Yeah, and we also know that Fanshawe runs such a clean squad. They're able to follow up on pretty much any Graviton Surge that gets thrown out. So you can't really rely solely on the Immortality field if you're Becker to get you through that. We can see just last round, the Graviton Surge from Moon, that was so big. I believe it was even the play of the game. Yeah, Baptiste is not going to get you through that. You might have a Lucio for that, but still, I still think the Baptiste just does out-tempo Moira. Every 30 seconds, it seems like you get that ultimate online. But I'm done talking about supports now. I think we got to move over to the DPS side of things because these teams right out of the gate are running 2 very different strats. Echo and Tracer on one side, and then a McCree and a Reaper on the other. What do you favor if you're running a Brawl comp?
I'm favoring the Reaper because in the Brawl comp, your entire focus is to take out the tanks in the front line. And if you have a Reaper in that front line putting out damage, you're just going to out damage the other side. And I'm telling you, Xavius on this Reaper was a threat in this first game. He came out swinging for Becker and was able to take out a lot of Magic Otters and Moons initiate, right? We saw them like to run the double bubble. They like to run the more divey comp, but it got shut down very early because he was just there the whole time. He had a presence. And when you have a Reaper in your face and you're a Winston and your jump is down, well, you're in a no bueno situation.
Yeah, it's not looking good. It's not looking good at all. You're right. There is just a ton of damage in the way of these tanks that it's just very tough to do.
But what are your thoughts on the DPS line?
You know, I think it's gonna be interesting, especially in a 7-map series where these teams are gonna be counterpicking each other's DPS, because I know on Fanshawe, like, player of the match every single time is one of their DPS players. Usually Matt, usually on Echo. So Becker just has to stay away from picking maps where Echo or double bubble is insane and just really realize that I think they're the stronger Brawl team. I think they're playing with the confidence, like they know that as well. So if they continue to pick these tight corridor type maps, like Busan had 2 great points where we saw them execute. But Nuke, we're going to Hollywood next. This is where double bubble / Echo starts to look really good. It's one of Fanshawe's favorites. Do you think we see this one tied up after map 2?
I do. I think that Fanshawe is going to have the advantage in this map. Like you said, it's a lot more open. They have the capability of moving Matt onto the Echo, and Trev we saw as a huge force on the Soldier and on the Kree. And when you have all of that hitting you, what are you going to do? Like, what's Becker's strat here?
Yeah, and we've seen Trev get a lot of action in on the Widowmaker too. His team relentlessly practices their rotations that they choose to run the Widowmaker with, always giving her the best sight lines as far away from possible so Trev can do as much damage and pretty much never get dealt with. On Hollywood's second point, that really does ring true to be a Widowmaker, maybe an Ashe point. Definitely some sort of long-range hit scan or a sniper to see there, but first point, I would expect the double bubble. And then on the side of Becker, who are going to be the defending team first, I'm really not sure because we've only seen the run and gun.
In this first point, you have a lot of capabilities, right? You have the 2 high grounds that you can work with. You can run the double shield and play back in the, what is that, the hotel right behind the first point. You can set down the shields, drop base there. You have a solid healer like an Ana or a BAP to keep you alive. You're going to have a good time. However, I predict that they're going to be running the Brawl comp. It's just going to make sense, especially playing to their strengths. They need to. This is the finals against a team that prior to last map was completely undefeated.
Yeah, which is a very big wake-up call if you're Fanshawe. Immediately you are informed that this one is not going to be like the rest of the season that was pretty much easy, pretty much a cakewalk. They cut through the Champions division like butter, but already hitting a speed bump against Becker tonight. All right,
indeed.
Underway. Sorry, Nuke there. Magic Otter jumping in over the top, just getting that early dive going, trying to just dislodge some members of Becker who have found themselves up on that high ground. Trev goes in for the flank, now unable to one-clip down Sacred End. And now Spark and Nate both fall. Looks like Trev was just able to cause enough of a commotion where those tanks were left without their supports.
Yeah, this is a heavy push from Fanshawe, you know, taking out a majority, really picking up the pieces, clean pickings for Fanshawe, and they're going to take this first point with a heavy stagger from Becker. Becker just looking to regroup now and really fight on this defense. Once again, though, Yuchi, we're seeing on the Brig. I don't know how I feel about it without the Reinhardt there. We do have Spark, and they are looking to run what seems as more of a dive comp. Xavier is switching over to the Tracer, but I'm uneasy about it. Not gonna lie, yo.
I'm uneasy about it as well. It's putting a lot on Sacred End's shoulders to deal with Matt. Have a stun for Spark as he comes in. It just is going to look very difficult to keep control of these high grounds where you can see Fanshawe, they swarm this. Trev does go down there to the tanks of Becker, but they're having an awful tricky time holding on to this high ground. Fanshawe just keep on challenging it wave after wave.
100%. And Matt's up top, he's getting ready, and we're hearing the High Noon come out from Sacred End, looking to clear some space, get him off point, and set up some time for Becker to get in position. We're gonna hear the Diva come out from Matt. An interesting pick indeed. The bomb getting thrown in mid. Is it gonna find anyone? No, but it is gonna take out the bubble. Trev on the back end, gonna find Sacred End as Acrid now for Fanshawe, just looking to try to keep the team alive.
Trev is just trying to solo carry Fanshawe through this second point, trying to keep this payload in gear. Able to find the 2K, did miss the pulse bomb stick, but still just pretty much on a one-man mission in on the backline. Really interested in what this guy's doing. Right now, both of his tanks are having those ultimates come online. Eefy's going to have to throw an anti-nade into that Graviton Surge. Coming out now from Moon, gets sent pretty deep. Acrio does go down though for Fanshawe, who find themselves on the back foot. Eefy getting harassed by these tanks, able to finish off Spark, but does go down to Nate in the end.
And honestly, now that I'm seeing the strat, Spark and Nate running the dive comp makes sense when you're diving Matt, right? He is the main threat, in my opinion, on Fanshawe's end. So, Becker, gotta keep it together, gotta defend this point. They have 3 there. Trev's taken out Sacred End, but Xavius is gonna trade with Moon, and it's a 3v3 on point. As I say that, almost commentator's curse. Fanshawe's gonna clear point, and they're looking to push it in.
It should get one more contest, though, still 10 meters until it reaches the finish line. And the mobile comp of Becker does get out in the mix. Stick lands onto the rally brig, canceling that ultimate. That was pretty much the only chance Becker had at this contest. But Xavius and Spark do find a couple of kills, meaning Becker could get back in this potentially with spawns. But Xavius has to do so much just stalling up this point. Has a little bit of help from the tanks, but Nape clinging to like 2 HP eventually does get desuited. Matt had that coffee, able to send in that Diva Bomb. Now it's not going to find anything as Spark does avoid the damage. The High Noon gets popped into the backline. That's going to stall this card a little bit longer. Nuke, this fight is not done yet as everyone on Becker is back.
I find it so fascinating that the High Noon can track the Diva bomb itself. It's its own hit marker. But you know what's also fascinating? That that bomb that we saw, the tracer bomb we just saw from Xavius, it unfortunately wasn't able to find anyone. And with 2 meters and 2.76 meters left, it looks like Becker is gonna strap their boots in and hold point.
I'm still not convinced they will. These supports seem to be doing a fantastic job keeping each other alive, not dying easily, and also finding the pick on the Sacred End as well. Becker has to choose to reset. They can't get too aggressive for these kills, maybe risking a C9 or worse. Trev has that pulse bomb online. Eefy sitting on the nano boost. Trev comes in from the high ground, almost able to take down Spark, but can't quite finish off the damage. Rally comes in again from Big. Trev looking for the stick, closes the distance, hasn't thrown it yet, lands it onto the Winston, but he's nanoed. Plenty of HP to deal with that. In fact, jumps right into Eefy, killing her with that cooldown. Diva Bomb flies in over now from Nape. Just a zoning ultimate once again here for Becker as they're managing to just stay on this point. Magic auto bouncing around, gets a kill with the Primal Rage. Doesn't seem to be enough. Another copy coming through from Matt to stall out this point even further. Keep this fight going for Fanshawe. They find 2 kills, make it 3 and 4. They're trying to get the second point. Nuke, I think they've done it.
I 100% am agreeance with you as we're hearing it come out, but not to downplay the synergy from Spark and Securin. When Securin was on that Ana, was able to keep Spark alive on the Winston, nanoed him, he came back, he primal ranged, monkeyed around, and it just wasn't able to find the picks. We did see as well Matt deciding to ult onto the Winston, and the double bubble was nothing but trouble for Sacred End as he could not find picks with the High Noon, and that was point for Fanshawe at that point. Becker on the back foot now. It's gonna look tough on this third point of Hollywood. However, if there's any point they can make it, it's gonna be this one, as we're seeing Spark make the transition over to the Reinhardt. Xavius getting Moon at nothing, no percent. Thankfully, like you said earlier, the Fanshawe support line is just phenomenal, tremendous.
Yeah, you can really see how Eefy using that healing nade was pretty much able to instantly heal Moon from 100 HP all the way back up to full. Sacred End now just trying to get this pick onto Trev, who's been pushing the aggression all game long, still in onto the backline, may be able to kill a support. Acrio does go down, as does Magic Otter. Becker coming out of their spawns with some gusto, finding Moon as well. Trev Goes down to the body shot from Sacred End, and Becker finds himself through the hold. Minute 25 left on the clock, Nuke.
Gusto indeed, and guts is the name of the game. Becker, knowing it's all on the line and ready to put it down. However, we're seeing some switches come out on the side of Fanshawe as well. Matt opting to switch over to the McCree, which could work in their favor. They don't have the Winston, they just have to play around Spark. So it's going to be a battle of the high noons between him and Sacred End. Magic making the push onto Securin. Is it going to be enough? Deciding to back out now as Sacred End picks 3 on Fanshawe's side.
Really good play from the McCree, from Becker on this third point. We've seen him just hit stuns and headshots onto very threatening DPS like Trev, just shut down these tanks. Magic Otter comes in too close. He gets hit with a fan and the hammer. And Sacred End has really just come up to the task here, but Fanshawe comes back in. They've got some ultimates. First one coming out is going to be the high noon from Sacred End. Diva Bomb's thrown in from Nate as well, but it's going to be the Pulse Bomb that finds value from Trev. Spark looking for answers by this mega health pack, but he comes up empty with the Shatter and the swings. Now Magic Otter just knocking around U2, not letting them have any fun out there, and Fanshawe get the payload moving with just 9 seconds left.
Spark's got to turn up that sensitivity. I know my fellow Reinhardt man was looking for the 360 Shatter, but it wasn't there. And instead, he found nothing but equipment. Magic Otter getting a little push up now for Fanshawe, trying to really set the seeds for the team to push it into the final moments of the match. Matt looking for a pick here. They're looking at Spark. We're hearing the beat come out. It's dropping. The music to my ears. High noon. Sacred End's gonna find Eefy though. That's gonna be massive for the side of Becker. The field's dropping, and Fanshawe looking like they're looking very strong in this set. Pushing it in with 1.49 meters left. We're hearing the grab come out. It wasn't even needed. Fanshawe gonna push it in. No time on the clock though.
No time on the clock. A good hold from Becker gets them to overtime, but Fanshawe did set a win condition after that attack. They've just got to keep Becker from completing this map. It's gonna be tricky though. This Becker team just looks better and better as this game goes on, looking like they might upset the favorites every single map. Clearly a very even bout so far. I was really impressed, Nuke, by the play we saw from Eefy, the healing done by the Fanshawe backline, not just onto the tanks, and often that is what people just expect of the supports, to keep the tanks alive. But we also see Eefy making sure that Acrio, the Mercy, stays alive and well, so she can go around pocket the DPS.
It was the second point that they were both stuck there, and the tank line had got decimated, right? And they started to back up, and the whole team tried to collapse on him, but they couldn't kill them. They were just alive the whole time. They were like, we got this. Who needs you guys, right? So if you told me in week 6 that Becker was 3-0'd by Fanshawe, I'd be telling you you are crazy watching this set, because it is so close. The back and forth action from either team is some of the best entertainment that we've seen in the NECC all season.
Definitely a fantastic match to end on, and we talked a little bit in the pregame about how so many players in these higher ranked divisions talked about memeing and hiding their strats in the regular season when they knew they were going to face a really good team again. Becker knew they were right up there atop this division, and it was very clear early on that Fanshawe was as well, so that regular season game could have been a complete fluke from Becker, so they surprised Fanshawe tonight.
Was it a tactical throw?
That's what I'm suggesting. It definitely could have been. I don't think this is a team that gets 3-0'd by Fanshawe that easily.
They're definitely showing it. There could have been some things that we don't know behind the scenes, right? They could have had a sub in. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't to the degree. Maybe they weren't feeling the mentality. Who knows? But tonight they are showing up, and they are here to play. Nate finding the pick on Trev, and they're looking to push this point. Sacred End picking him out of the sky like Acrio is a disc. Pull, pop, it's there.
Great play. Love it from Becker, just taking the high ground and then taking the point from there. Spark does go down to Magic Otter. They've got to deal with this Fanshawe main tank before he gets out for a recontest. Eyeing it up like he wants to, but will retreat back to second point. They want this high ground. This is where Fanshawe shines the most on Hollywood. This is where this double bubble comp, or not double bubble, Winston Echo, can really start to get active and just abuse the fact that something on Becker is going to be vulnerable moving this payload, and the high ground is way too valuable for them to ignore.
Yelk, they did it even faster than Fanshawe. Becker took that point a little bit faster than Fanshawe is, and that makes me hopeful for this match. Matt looking for the dive in. It's not going to find anyone. We're seeing Spark back up to try to defend the high nooning McCree. Ooh, McCree turning around, trying to get Trev's Tracer. However, it's not going to fall on blind eyes. Spark with... I'm picking out the Mercy? In the air?
Yeah, that fire strike was beyond the 3-point arc for sure. Finds another one onto Efi. Okay, this guy is going the distance with the fire strike. He is scorching supports right now.
It's kind of wild. Like we said earlier, Spark is the ignition that this team needs. As soon as they're seeing him pop off, I feel like it almost gives them the camaraderie, the confidence to keep going in this set. And now, just points away from the second point, and he's going to dive the Winston, trying to turn around, but he is going to shatter the bubble. Spark, you're doing so well. Quit throwing the shatters.
Yeah, Spark just really feeling himself right there. Matt does come in over the top with the kill with the sticky grenades. Bomb coming in, finds a pair from Moon. That's gonna bail out this Fanshawe defense, at least for another fight.
I'm telling you, coming from someone whose name is Nuclear, that was a solid bomb from Moon, and it set the precedent of the defense for Fanshawe. While it took them some time to really stop Becker's push, that was the hit that they needed to really put the nail in the coffin of their entire push. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. Becker looking very strong on their offense. With 4 ultimates online, the economy from this team is really showing through.
They did exactly what they wanted that fight, even though they lost. Now they're going to go up and just aggress onto the high ground, not afraid of anything but Trev lands the pulse bomb. It doesn't matter! Xavius and Nape are going to be there with ultimates of their own in response. Trev able to find Xavius in the end, but Fanshawe finds themselves on the back foot, headed towards spawn or headed out of spawn after that swift little 4K. Sacred Dead has to set up this high noon, and they've got to use these support ultimates to bail out anything Fanshawe throws at them in this final fight on second.
And that's what separates these divisions. In the Champions division, Yuchi holding on to the beat and not dropping it, even when all of the team was low. He recognized that they were fine, and he recognized that all they needed was this for the next fight. They don't even need to drop the support ults, as Fanshawe's not going to get on point. Becker's going to touch, and now they're going to have the short spawn. Spark taking out Otter, and they're really just cleaning up shop at this point as they're looking for this final push with 4 minutes on the clock. Spark now has the Earth Shatter. Yuji still holding on to the beat, and we're gonna see some switches come out from Fanshawe. They're gonna look at changing their strategy here and going more for that brawl comp.
Yeah, they're going with the double head scan, maybe choosing to take a couple more angles, really get active on this high ground that currently Becker is doing a fantastic job controlling, just getting way ahead of this next fight that's about to happen and controlling the valuable space. The Shatter and the beat drop come through, and Becker engaging with all they've got, swinging through the Immortality Field, swinging through Acrio. They do lose Nape, the Mech, and the Baby Diva as well. Spark oversteps the bounds. The payload does keep moving, but Nuclear, it should be enough for Fanshawe to get back out here and get the kills they need to take Becker off.
Spark is the most fearless Reinhardt I've ever seen. He ran at 4 people, did not care, kept swinging. He ran at the Zen, who could have thrown the orb on him, and he just kept swinging. They don't care. Sacred In gonna find Effie, and that's gonna set the precedent for the push. They're going in. Yuchi gonna find Magic Otter. That's now 2 down, but Matt's gonna respond, find Sacred In. Spark gonna go back on Matt. It is an absolute brawl fest on this last point. Xavius saying it's not high noon, it's not time, it's time for the Earth Shatter, and we're pushing it to the last point.
Oh my god, time on the clock. The DPS from Becker just doing everything in their power, getting early picks, killing members of Fanshawe out of their ultimates, and finding a way to deal with Trev, who has just been a menace in their backline all game. They ignore all of it, and they take 3 points with 2:15 on the clock.
Becker, I said it before the game started. When what was it that Foof said? Foof said it last week. Big moments will come out from big players when big plays are on the line. And Becker tonight showing that this is their time. They are taking and ending, retiring this championship division, this Champions Division championship for Overwatch in the NECC. They're going to take the trophy. They're going to retire it at the end of the season. That's their goal.
Yeah, this is insane. It seriously is the last dance of this program, and what a way to just write the final chapter for this Becker College esports team. A fantastic effort we've seen so far in this one. And Nuke, we've seen Fanshawe lose 200% of the maps they lost all season so far. And as the #1 team, what is going on in their heads right now? They were the Titans. They were the unbeatable force in this division, and they are being just dragged through these maps.
I feel as though when you've won all season, you maybe are not as susceptible to the mental that can come from playing from behind, right? When you're playing from behind, it's a completely different mentality than playing from ahead, and that's all they've had all season. So maybe at this point, Becker trying to put a worm in Fanshawe's heads and making it to where that mental is also fighting against the team. But we're gonna see the team group up, and I'm just gonna wait out some time. Becker really talking, I imagine there was some comms there, right? They're wanting to make sure the collaboration and communication is down. Becker also has their main shield down in Spark. He's pushing the high ground, looking for a pick here. And actually, now that I'm seeing on defense, hold on, Trev is switching to Hanzo? That's scary.
That is going to open up a pretty crazy off angle if he can stay safe from the pressure that Nape is bound to harass him with. It's going to be Spark finding the first kill. Trev was too far on that flank, and this is not looking good for Fanshawe. Nuke, Matt almost has this copy. It's all up to Matt to bail him out with this ultimate, or it's going to be all over. Able to focusing beam down Sacred End, getting Spark as well. Matt doing all in his power to keep Fanshawe alive in this overtime. Gonna slam down as well. Oh my God, Matt, you do not want to lose this game. I can tell, buddy.
Oh, Matt showing that Matt and Trev both showing that they don't want to lose. Trev immediately switching to the Tracer, recognizing, you know, the Hanzo didn't work. I have to get back to point right now. And we're seeing that. The dive comp is coming out from Fanshawe to hit the defense. We're going to see Magic Otter have the mines. Moon is actually going to throw or get back in ult, charging for the bomb. Acrio almost has the Mercy balk as well. So this fight could go a lot of different ways.
Becker then takes down the carry to start things off. Fanshawe again starting a fight in a very sticky situation. Acrio needs to go down. There's no supports left on the side of Fanshawe. Their only hope is most likely Matt. Xavier is able to take care of Magic Auto. Moon able to demech Nape, and Spark goes down to Trev. It's a full team effort from Fanshawe. They stay in the fight with a Diva Bomb, and they've still got the whole 10 seconds left. Nuke, does Becker have a chance to get back?
I don't think so, and I'm absolutely floored by the capabilities behind Fanshawe. They are going to make it. Oh, they're going to get there. Spark's going to be able to touch with the Wrecking Ball. That's going to give enough time for Xavius to come back. The seeds are sown. The Death Blossom is coming out. The field is dropping on point. Trev going to find the stick on Secure, and Sacred End going to respond by picking Acrio and EP.
High noon now from Sacred End, just going to zone off Magic Otter. They've got to get back quick. The Tick almost giving up. He gets back in the nick of time, goes in for a slam, but the beat drop there to keep everyone on Becker alive, and they jump out in front 2-0 so far in the final.
Wow, Becker, last second touch needed, and it came through from Spark. Spark, I know, listen, I know at this point, Spark has to be driving a manual because the clutch is real. And without that last touch, it would have been the map. But they were able to secure it, and now Becker up in this series 2-1.
And you can just see it is an all-out battle between the DPS in this one so far. Sacred End on the McCree has to be playing in the heart of his team to just have that stun ready for Trev on these flanks, coming in so aggressively on the Tracer, also tasked with taking Matt out of the skies. Nuke, that is 2 maps out of the way. We're going to have 2CP Assault coming up for map 3, but we're going to be jumping to a quick break, so we'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, chat.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 Classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch ahead.
Throw Jim in. Cool. I'm
Man, Jacob, 2-0 here for Becker to start this one off.
This thus far, I thought our guy Nuclear, I thought Chase just made a terrific point when he talked about Fanshawe has been so dominant all year long that they haven't faced a lot of adversity, and how do they respond? And so far, it has not been good. Becker is playing like a team. That this is the last time this group will play together as a group, quite frankly. There is no tomorrow. It's not a cliche. There is no tomorrow, not just for the NECC in this spring semester. There is no tomorrow for Becker College. They are playing like this is their last opportunity to play together, and that thus far they are making it.
And what a story it would be if they were to pull it off. What an absolute story it would be. And so far they look very strong, just very strong. And I don't want to take anything away from their opponent here.
No.
But Becker's just on a whole another level right now.
Yeah, I think their comm's been really good. They're on the same page. You can tell that they've used the additional time, I think, to really prepare and to get on the same page. And like I said, I feel like they're active. And I feel like this is, it's kind of odd to say because it's a championship game and it means a lot to everyone. But you get the feeling, Jim, like this might just mean a little bit more for Becker because of what's at stake here.
Just a little bit. Yeah, no, I'm with you there. It feels a little bit like Becker. They got a little bit something in their back pocket on this one, you know.
It's a little bit. It's kind of an odd analogy to make, but it's like you get to this last situation, and if you're a Fanshawe, you're like, all right, we're good, we're really good, we're probably gonna win, we're the top seed, we're rolling through, and if we do things our way and we're not taking anything away from them, we're gonna win. And if you're Becker, it's like this is our last chance, this is our last hurrah. So you're emptying the tank. Literally, figuratively, whatever you want to say, you're just going to leave it out there and say, let's do it. Let's give it our best. And hopefully it's good enough. And so far it has been.
Well, and you spoke about it there for a minute, Fanshawe, like they're the mental, they're like, oh no, we're the number one, we got this, we got this. And when you're the number one, that's when you really have to work on the mental, and it doesn't sound like that's the way it should work. It sounds like if you're the lower seed, you need to work on your mental. It's like, no, if you're the lower seed, nobody's expecting anything. You can come in and just slap people around. If you're the upper seed, though, you really have to just power through. You can't be sitting there going, we're the higher seed, we got this, it's over. You really have to keep yourself in the game. And maybe Fanshawe was looking forward to that award ceremony a little bit too much so far, but plenty of match left.
Yeah,
plenty of match left. We've seen so much happen with Overwatch finals this year. I'm not going to call it over until it's over.
I totally agree. You took the words right out of my mouth there, partner. And the fact that this third map coming up is huge, obviously, either way, because I think if Fanshawe can get things, this break probably comes at exactly the right time for them, get reorganized, get things under control, to, catch a breath and say, all right, didn't go our way. Kudos to Becker, to our point that we've been making. Maybe they're not all systems go, and now they're saying, all right, we took a punch. But you know what? This is the best of 7. This isn't the best of 5. We're not on life support. There's a lot of match left to be played here. We got to regroup, and we got to get better, and we got to take map number 3, and then we have ourselves a serious match, right? Now, if Becker wins match number 3, I don't know how Fanshawe will respond. But if Fanshawe wins this third map, and that's why I think this is the most important map of this game coming up here, is if Fanshawe can respond and regroup, I think they have a big shot to come from behind and win this one.
Big shot. Big shot. That's what it's all going to be about. That's what it's all going to be about here.
Jim, I gotta say, Jim, the vest 3 nights in a row, really sharp. A+.
I dig the vest. Not everybody can pull off the vest, but if you can pull it off, why not? Right? If you can pull it off, why not? Mr. Producer, are they good for map number 3? All right, Jacob, you were saying something though when I cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say, vest life is the best life, my friend. You're living your best.
That's what I'm saying, man. Vest life right here.
Sharp, my brother. Sharp.
All right, so who do you think? Map 3, Jacob. Who do you think?
I got Fanshawe map 3. I think they respond.
I'm gonna go with the dark horse. I'm gonna say Becker sweeps 4-0.
Oh, he's made a prediction. What is this world coming to? It must be the final night.
Becker sweeps 4-0 in the last hurrah, and those guys go nuts, and they're gonna have to figure out a way to cut up a trophy into 6 pieces.
I can't wait. If they win, I can't wait to talk to those guys. That'll be a blast. But we got a lot of matches left to be played.
All right, here we go. Map number 3 coming up right now.
All right, welcome back, chat, to the final Overwatch of the spring here on the NECC. Right now, Becker is shocking the world, up 2-0 over Fanshawe, who had only lost 1 map all season. Nuke, we were talking a little bit during that intermission how insane we already thought this game was. Who has really impressed you most on the side of Becker?
Spark. It's got to be Spark. But
he's a force.
He is a force to be reckoned with. He's nothing short of a hurricane. He's just going through, just taking it all out. However, I do not want to downplay Sacred End because he is making the support line on Fanshawe shake in their boots. Every time we're seeing Acrio Mercy jump, it's like we were talking during the break. It's like he gets a notification on his phone, and he's like, just, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Got him. Done.
Easy. Always has high noon for the Valk too. Really can't do as much as you would like to with that Mercy ultimate, which can be so good, but if there's a high noon from Sacred End, then that is just a very easy answer. We find ourselves now on Assault 2CP, as everyone knows it by in the Overwatch community, Volskaya. Nuke, I haven't seen this map too much in the playoffs so far. A lot of Temple of Anubis. This first point is pretty tricky. What do you think is the best way to attack it for this, for this Becker team?
I think the best way to attack it is by not playing Volskaya.
Yeah.
that is the best way to attack the point, is to not play this map. And here we are. For some reason, this is our choices have led us here. The bans and the picks have led us here, and unfortunately, we're sitting fat at Volskaya when they're looking to push here. When Becker is looking on this push, I think that it's going to come down to how well the double bubble can come out. And while they're dealing with that frontline mayhem, how much of a backline terror Xavius and Sacred End can be on the Reaper and the Sombra.
Sacred End going out right now, maybe just for a scouting mission, might actually choose to stay on this hero for once. Sombra is kind of known as the 2CP DPS hero. Of course, I'm talking about that EMP. Hack comes in on the Magic Otter, and no one is expecting the Sombra pick. Becker capitalize on that early. They've got to do a good job of keeping their squishies alive in the backline. Acrio closes in, taking down Securin. And that is going to make this one a 5 versus 5 now, Nuke, as the DPS for Fanshawe still just involved in the backline, turning around members of Becker. Ape does go down to Moon. Spark does find the kill onto the Fanshawe support. Trev, though, finishing off both tanks on the side of Becker, and it looks like Fanshawe might just be able to hold this.
It's not very often you see the Tracer taking out both of the tanks in the front line, but That's Trev for you, and he is here to say, "Howdy, mate." he's adding the value on the Tracer, and that defense was what they needed. Securin falling in that fight, I feel, was the detriment of Becker on that push because they didn't have enough heals from Yuchi.
Yeah, it really didn't seem like they did. Going in again now, very quickly is NECC taking down Moon, but Spark falls to the focusing beam. EMP is ready though. That's gonna EMP all 5 members of Fanshawe. Matt does go down in the copy, but has the Diva Bomb. Will get back in this as well. Trevi bomb onto Yuchi again. Yuchi has just been a magnet for pulse bombs. Xavius doing what they can. The Reaper job taking down Trev. Matt, pretty much the last line of defense here on the first point for Fanshawe, as Acrio is shoved off the point by Spark.
I'm sorry. We need to take a second and appreciate that Xavius has Death Blossom, because this round could be over in the next 30 seconds if they're able to get the positioning and timing on this second point. Becker coming on 4 ultimates, almost 5, and then you look over at Fanshawe. They've had to make a couple of switches. They only have the beat to defend.
I'm not too sure it's gonna be enough. That Death Blossom comes in early from Xavius, and it's gonna be Becker just keeping the tempo with these ultimates one after another. The Primal Rage now from Spark. Nape's bomb will find EP. Spark able to finally juggle down Moon, sending him back to spawn. Becker not done yet. The EMP already online from Sacred End, and that's going to be enough to erase Magic Otter. 1 tick already taken, working their way up toward 2, and Becker poised to steamroll here on Volskaya.
And look at the timing of the switch offs, right? We see Magic Otter rolling through, and as soon as he stops touching, we see Trev on point. But the berating that's coming from Becker is is too much for Fanshawe to handle. And I hate to say it, but I think my prediction's gonna be right. We got another 20, maybe 10 seconds left on this point. Oh no, Matt here to prove me wrong. We're seeing the ult come out. No monkey business here as he's swinging. He is gonna get shredded though by this Diva, just trying to get Becker off a point. And he's doing everything he can to make sure that his team is going to be able to get back in time. And we are going to see Moon coming in, adding value, taking out Yuchi. Trev now taking out Spark. And while they did get it to the 3rd tick, almost there, Becker poising for another push.
Sacred End already on their 3rd EMP of this map. That is insane tempo of that ultimate. It's an end game ultimate anytime it's used. We've seen the first point taken off of the back of it and 2 ticks already taken off of the second. I'm not sure Fanshawe's gonna be ready for this one. Sacred End setting up now, detected by the Moira, already spotted though by Moon, turns around and gets the lead onto Sacred End. Now Nate doesn't know what to do with this Diva Bomb, wants to send it in. Here comes the EMP, everything is left out. A 2K opens things up here for Becker. They're not done yet, comboing the Coalescence just to keep the damage and the healing going. Trev though, not done yet, still has an appetite for this fight. Into the backline, but not choosing to touch the point. Instead, just takes the 2K, runs around, gets the Mega Health Pack, lets the tanks go to the dirty areas of this point. Magic Otter does go down. Spark able to get the kill onto them. Trev with this beat drop, looking to get a lot of confidence, getting the mix, do a lot of work. Lands the stick. That is going to be enough to knock Nape awfully low, but not enough to de-mech the Diva. Moon popping this Wrecking Ball mine in desperation as Becker starts to fall low. There might be some chance that Fanshawe stay in this fight, but Nuke, I'm still not sure. These ones are just back and forth.
Yelk, they started the fight with all of their ultimates. Becker came back with all the ults they needed, and we saw Fanshawe use all of the ultimates last fight to just keep them off, right? So what you need on the second point of Volskaya, and what Becker is slowly realizing, is an entire wipe. You have to take out the ball, you have to take out the Tracer. Do not let them retouch point, because it's gonna be complete mayhem in trying to get them off. Now, we did see the massive Somber All into Nate's Diva Bomb, and that picked 3. But the follow-up that was just not executed to the point that Becker needed in getting that full wipe that you need on this last point of Volskaya.
Getting the hack in early onto Moon again. Wrecking Ball really just finding trouble anywhere they turn against this Sacred End Somber, who's got the EMP again, lets it go. Trev has nowhere to blink now, no blinks to even use, and we'll fall in a flash to Yuji. And it looks like the D.Va finished off as well. They've finally done a very good job of cleaning up kills quickly, but they've got to deal with Moon again. There it is, dealt with by Yuji again. Point though, still not upticking in percentage with 59 seconds, just under a minute, and that is huge. Becker will take the point.
Just like your high school tug of war team at the end of the year, right? They are pulling and they are not letting go. Fanshawe, even with one person on point, they may be getting dragged through the mud, but by golly, they are not letting it happen. And they took it all the way to 59 seconds left. At first, it almost looked like a 3-4 minute cap, but Fanshawe showing why they're number one and holding the defense on the second point of Volskaya. Now the roles are going to be reversed, and I am very interested to see how Fanshawe is going to respond on the offense. What are your thoughts, Yelk?
Well, I mean, talk about a response just on that defense. The clutch factor to shave off 4 minutes of time was pretty insane. I think they look good on that composition. They're going to have Moon, it looks like, go over to the Zarya to start. I think they've just done exactly what they needed to at least stay in this map. By getting it to 59 seconds instead of, say, a minute and 1 second, now Fanshawe can capture both points with no time on the clock and still have a chance at overtime.
That's a very, very good point. That may happen, too. Anything's possible on these two CP maps.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, Fanshawe, they've just got a delight for these like stall fights. It seems like anytime Becker comes in with 3 picks, Fanshawe's like, well, you better have ultimates to finish off a Wrecking Ball and a Tracer that are pretty much impossible to do any damage onto. I did like the Sombra from Sacred End, especially on the attack, but opting for the Ashe now and 2 shields as Becker looked to set up around this horseshoe high ground on the first point.
And it's so cheeky. I'm seeing it in chat. Spam this Bev to cheer for Trev. Trev really clutching through those defensive holds for Fanshawe, and now on the offense, sticking to the Tracer, getting on this backline, looking for some sneaky picks on Nape. Are we gonna find it? Is he gonna get there?
Trev just has to be as aggressive as possible now going into the backline. Sorry to cut you off there, Nuke, but Trev was just looking like he was gonna make a move. He's definitely looking hungry out there for supports. Now just rotates all the way around. But what I'm seeing from Becker is just very good rotations on both sides of these high grounds. There's really no clear target for Fanshawe to go on, but they do close it on Sacred End, but not without giving up Trev in a trade.
Yeah, and that's going to be a massive trade to have. Matt, though, still sitting on the Echo and adding the value for the team. I'm telling you, this dive comp for Fanshawe is just so nasty. You have Magic Otter and Moon putting out all of the damage on the front line, and it's so hard to get any damage off on this team. The only things that you can really support are the supports themselves, but they're just so slippery. And when you have Matt flying around, buzzing through the air, and Trev constantly just recalling in your backline, Becker showing that it's kind of a chink in the armor, but still dealing with it, right? That's why they're 2-0 in the series, and they came studied, they came prepared, and they know how to engage this.
That was way too much damage for Magic Otter on that slam. Didn't even finish the animation before getting taken care of. Deepy doing all they can to just pocket Accio and get them out of this fight as the high noon is popped from Xavius. That's going to be the cue to reset for Fanshawe's. Moon also falls off the map into the icy drink of Volskaya.
Xavius switching over to the, or sorry, not Xavius switching over to the Creed. Xavius using the ult on the Creed to clear point, and I think Fanshawe now realizing they're gonna need a complete wipe. They're just looking to set up ultimates here. Trev gonna take out Securin. Securin looking like he didn't have enough time to get away from that situation. Matt gonna mech the D.Va, throw the bomb out. Who's it gonna find? No one, because everyone in the vicinity is already dead. Trev now on point, pushing the advantage. We're seeing Sacred End throw the bomb onto Magic Otter. It's gonna take it out, but Trev getting a spicy melee on Sacred End. Efi deciding to get the res on Otter, keeping them in this fight. But once again, you have to get these full wipes. And Becker coming back on the defense.
Yeah, not even 3% of this point taken just yet, as both of these teams really do have a zeal for these stall fight situations. It is so hard to capture any percentage on these final points of these 2 CP spawns. When you see Trev getting in the mix now, he's got the pulse bomb ready to do a massive amount of damage if any tank chooses to contest. Right now they're just trying to deal with Sacred End. Trev does get around that mega health pack and gets the final blow onto them. Still though, this Becker squad just gets out on hero after hero around these walls, spacing themselves around the point and just stalling it out. Now Spark comes back in. Maybe one last time as 2 ticks have been taken. 92%, just 8 more to go. Pulse Bomb whiffed by Trev, but he's not done there. Able to finish off Spark. Diva Bomb, finding 2 for Nape. That's huge. That gets Becker right back in this. And Nape trying to chase down this Mercy. Having a little trouble doing the tracking, has some fantastic movement from Efi. Is able to keep him alive. And Moon with a 2K bomb of their own. Oh, Nuke, it is a Nuke show. I'm just going to let you take it from here.
I'm telling you, someone get Nape a cape, because this hero deserves one. He is here to defend for his team and post up. Oh no, Spark's gonna go down. Are they gonna be able to touch point in time? Yes, they are. There's still 2, there's still 1 on. They have to get there, but I think Fanshawe looking to write the books down. This is a 259 hold, and man, oh man, this is gonna be a very hard one to win for Becker.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic defense from Fanshawe set them up so that that time bank looks as good as it does right now. 2:59 on the clock, going up against a minute. That is 300% of what Becker's working with. Pretty tough if you're
Once
Becker.
again, I said this earlier, I'm gonna say it again. We call these a no bueno situation. This is, you don't want to find yourself here. 2 minutes and 59 seconds in bank time for the #1 team in the season that prior to tonight has only lost 1 map. Seems to me like they found their footing in the series, and it's gonna take Becker coming back in full force, looking to brawl to take it back.
Yeah, and even though Fanshawe seems to have found their footing, you've got to remember that they've had the last 2 map picks. They were beat on Hollywood, their own map pick, so they need this one bad. And once this one goes back into Becker's favor with the map picks, I'm not so sure. Becker could just choose a map that is heavy on brawl and outdo Fanshawe again, but I do think you're right. Fanshawe is in their final form, but still, it looks like they've got some cracks in their armor. It looks like even at their best, Becker might just be able to hang on and win this final.
Fanshawe final form should be shirts that they sell. That's perfect. You know, just get some anime hair on there. That's all you need. But all that Becker needs is Spark on this Wednesday. If they're able to keep him alive, it may be able to be enough for the backline. But we are seeing Xavius on the Reaper. I don't think that Magic Otter is going to be able to do much against that. If he gets on it, we are going to see Magic Otter get the hack. He's not going to be able to jump out. He's stuck on point, a sitting duck, if you will. Sacred End looking to come back and... Oh, wow. Efi going to find the same return on Spark, and Xavius going to get picked by Matt with a quick 3-piece.
I'm not going to lie, Nuke, that was pretty sloppy play from Becker. After getting that early kill, confirming the hack that Sacred End landed onto Magic Otter, they kind of just fumbled it. It seemed like the translocator from the Sombra was far away. They didn't have as many people in the fight as they thought, and one by one they started to go down in a fight they should have won. But now Spark is back on the point, able to get a contest, but not able to stay alive. That is 6 members of Fanshawe focusing fire onto not 1, but 2 people. Matt with the high noon from the top turnbuckle. Should be enough to close this one off. Just waits out the Diva Matrix, hits the high noon onto the Tracer, and that is pretty much every pesky problem of Becker dealt with. And now Fanshawe will just have to take 1 tick in 3 minutes to get this one to a 2-1 score.
That hold can really be just broken down in Trev's ability to hold it together for his team. The body shots and headshots, you know, I'd love to see the accuracy just in the past minute that they had on that push, because he got so much. There were so many body shots that came out. He, like you said earlier, he baited out the Diva Matrix, waited for the Diva to get demeched, and then picked the Diva all in the time that he was high nooning. The patience from this man is a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, both of the DPS on that team really just controlling the high ground, never letting go of it either. And Becker, they tried to force the point. They were very aggressive on that first push. It seemed like they could just take the point for free after that Winston went down on the early hack, but it wasn't that easy. Really, that point is just a shooting gallery for DPS up on those high ground.
Yeah, and something that you're seeing at these higher divisions on Volskaya is opting to hold back on point, right? In the lower divisions, you'll see a lot of the teams decide to run a brawl or a double shield with a bastion right in the doorway to really stop that push. With 2 minutes and 59 seconds of time, you know, Becker allowing the space for Fanshawe to get through on point, I'm honestly not sure if it's the play, but That's why they're in this division, right? That's why they're making the picks, and they have a strategy for it. I don't imagine Becker would come unprepared from what we've seen from the first 2 maps. So, let's see it in chat. What do you guys think? Is Becker going to have the defense to hold this slaughter coming out from Fanshawe?
I don't know. Already in a very tough situation was securing, but they get a quick trade onto EP. Support for support, but still just pieced apart. It really does seem like if it's mobile comp versus mobile comp, Fanshawe is just a well-oiled machine. I'm looking for Becker to respond after this with a brawl pick, but Sacred End, they're not ready yet to give up Volskaya. They're going to put up as much of a fight as they can, finding 3 picks, but it seems like they might be dealt with. Now Trev missing both melees, but Magic Otter's there with the cleanup, and Fanshawe finishes off Volskaya with a final score of 3-2 to make this match 2-1.
And she wrote it, right? That was all she wrote. That was all she wrote. That's it. Fanshawe's taking it 2-1, coming back in this series, and now that they have the momentum, we've seen this team be a very momentum-based team. They're very good at steamrolling their opponents. So when they have that upper hand, now we're seeing Becker play from behind. And Becker's having a dominant season as well. So the mental on both of these teams around the picks they're playing and the comps that are/aren't working, I'm interested to see how this is going to go into our 4th map, which is going to be Escort.
Yeah, and payload is pretty tricky. We've seen Becker really just step up and use the payload as pretty much a main tank and then just make a ton of space out there on Reinhardt. I'm looking for Spark to play that hero again. I think now that they've got the map pick back in their favor, we see a payload map maybe like Route 66 where there's not that much high ground for Echo to stay safe behind. That kind of limits what Matt can do, but still, not a lot of payload maps play that great to Becker's strengths, I don't think.
Yelk, remind me, whose pick is this right now?
This should be Becker's pick.
Becker's pick. Okay, so they are going to want to play something probably a little bit more close quarters. So
and Fanshawe gets a ban too. So Fanshawe could ban like brawl maps.
They could ban the brawl maps. So let's just go through the escort maps we have. We have Dorado. We have Havana. We have Junkertown. We have Rialto. We have Route 66, and then we have Watch Point Gibraltar. Right. So what do you think the ban's going to be first?
I think Rialto is probably the best brawl payload map. None of them really are. It seems like a lot of them favor like snipers. I think Fanshawe, just based on the game mode alone, might have the edge in this just because I know Trev can do so much more than just Tracer. If they land on a Widowmaker type map and payload has a lot of them, we could see Trev get unleashed this game. Fanshawe is not done. I think they just showed up to this one.
They got the ticket a little late, right? They had to pay. They had to pay the valet. That's why they're
late.
Right?
Yeah,
you have to be. I think my prediction, while it does have a lot of open space on the 3rd points, I'm thinking if they're gonna ban a Route 66 or a Rialto, I think we're gonna see a Watch Point Gibraltar on this 3rd map. I think it's very reasonable to see looking at the escort. I think that's going to be it. I think it's going to be Watch Point. That's I'm locking in my answer, Howie. Deal.
Well, we will just have to wait and see. Definitely looking forward to this next map. This is either going to end in a match point for Becker or a tie game. And Nuke, I think we're in for the long one here on this best of 7.
I think we're going to go, if this series is anything like the other series we've seen, which the other series first game went to game 7. Second game went to game 7. Third game went to game 6. And now here we are, we're at map 3 and or we're at map 4. It's 2-1. And I don't know. I'm with you, Yelk. I think we're in it for the long haul. I hope you brought your headphones. I hope you brought some snacks. While we're on break right now, in between maps, y'all better go use the bathroom because you better be glued to your chair for the series.
Yeah, put a pot of coffee on, do whatever you got to do.
Oh, looks like we're going down under. Junkertown is going to be the pick on this 4th map. And an interesting pick from Becker. Lots of open space on the 1st and 2nd point. Now, I do see the brawl coming out on the 3rd point, and maybe that's the clutch play they're looking for. Maybe that's the trust and spark that they have. I'm not sure. but I don't know how I feel about it. What are your thoughts on Junkertown?
I think it looks great for Trev. I think it looks a lot less good for Matt. So maybe they're just picking these maps with Matt in mind as the biggest threat to them. But Trev, seriously, is a monster on sniper picks. I'm definitely looking to see him play that on this first point. Likely Becker rolls out with Sacred End on McCree again. And that's kind of the hit scan response we can expect to see. But I'm most interested in what Spark is going to pick on this map, because Nuke, this is not a very good Ryan map, and that has been the hero he has made the most impact on in this match so far.
You know, I heard you talking a lot about the DPS, a lot about the tank line, which have been the point of contention the entire night. You know, who's going to out damage who? However, with all of the line of sight that you really have on Junkertown, there's a lot of corners that you have to take. Interested to see who's going to be able to out-bap who, because these BAP fields could come in clutch on these plays, and you have a lot of high ground mobility. Maybe the Ana picks are going to come in clutch. I'd love to see Acrio or Efi, you know, we've seen them struggle against Becker's DPS. Sacred End has put them on their spot. So I'd love to see how they're able to do in this map, having a lot more of that line of sight opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the supports can do, and this is a map, too, where we could get something totally new. We could finally see a Zenyatta, one of my favorite heroes, my second most all-time played hero. Discord can really amp up some damage. That's a map where sightlines are wide open, which means Discord doesn't leave a target once it's on it. There's not those walls to hide behind.
And it's sometimes criticized, but a Zenyatta and a dive comp can be very scary, because in a dive comp, it's a glass cannon, right? You're just throwing the Discord orb, the monkeys jumping in, the divas jumping in, and we've said it all night, they're shaking in their boots. You don't have a response for that. Even when you're getting dove on a Zenyatta, if you're able to be kept alive and you're throwing the Discord orb out on whoever's attacking you, they're getting shredded.
They definitely are. I would definitely love to see that pick on this. And oh my, we might just get our chance. Chad, I don't think you can see it yet, but a certain Securin is already on the Zenyatta pick. But this is the attacking side. It could be meaning. We're still not sure. What I really have my eyes on, though, is just like I thought, Trev on the Widowmaker. That is the player to watch, at least on first point.
Hold on. No. I'm going to stop you right there. Trev is great, but my boy Matt on the Hanzo is gonna be fresh. He tried it in the first map, it didn't work, and he made the quick switch. However, he's been feeling himself, and we've been seeing the plays coming out from Matt. So, these dragons, question mark? Are they gonna be enough, question mark? Yes, they are, exclamation point.
Shield thrown up for Sacred End just to buy them this first sightline, but Trev, yeah, already said it, already predicted it, because it is pretty much the easiest prediction I could have made. Damage boosted a headshot, one hits Spark on Orisa. That's a wake-up call.
Spark even put in chat, wow.
Oh, off top, going for some style points. Sacred End saying that he's got some Widow chops on him as well. Lands that headshot onto Trev. That's going to be the Widowmaker sent back to spawn. Resurrect not committed by Acrio as Fanshawe falls back.
Yeah, and Sacred End has been proving this entire series, while Trev has been the one to watch on Fanshawe. Sacred End has had the aim hacks on Becker. That's a joke, he actually is not hacking, but we are seeing the quick plays come out from him. The ball on the corner of the map, gonna fall to Sacred End with the quick machine gun plays.
Yeah, and we can just see how much Discord helps, because Widowmaker's machine gun should not do that much damage, and when Securin has that Discord on Magic Otter, it makes him a lot less threatening against those Widowmaker engages. Matt able to find that pick, very crucial, just camping around by that outhouse for the finish line of first point, and Fanshawe, they're trying to rally off the back of that pick, able to find Securin as well, but Nate not looking to give up this high ground so easily, has Yuchi to pocket him and maybe hold this corner pretty strong, but still Fanshawe, they're got to be able to find Spark out in the open.
Yelk, I love this double mirror play in these DPS. Matt on the Hanzo, Xavier said, I'ma play Hanzo. Trev on the Widowmaker, Sacred then said, I'm gonna play Widowmaker. And Sacred now up 2-0 on the Widow plays themselves. Ooh, trying to get a pick again on Spark. It's not going to be enough. And you can see them. They're cheeky looking at each other. They both have ult popped, and everyone is currently just playing it safe. 2 minutes now on the clock. Becker not able to get it past the second corner and trying to push on this first point of Junkertown.
Trev opens up the angle, starts to be very threatening. Everyone looks his way, and Matt finds a headshot amidst the wherewithal. Securin just has trouble keeping track of their head, loses it right there to Matt, who does fall to a storm arrow from Xavius. This one is going back and forth, completely dictated by the sniper play.
And Xavius now sitting at 10 health. He did get healed, so that's good because he is at 99 charge on the Dragons, and he's honestly gonna need it for this push. Ooh, the Flux is gonna find one. It's gonna take out Magic Otter. We are gonna hear the Orisa ult come out. Acrio getting the res on Magic Otter, trying to pull apart this defense.
How is Matt still alive back there? The accretion hit from Nape, everything was point blank, but somehow he clung to his HP. The Dragon Strike now committed, and it looked like that arrow found Efi up on that staircase. Very nice shot there. The Discord slapped on once again to Magic Otter, who's just gonna spin to win on this point as long as they possibly can, but still, it looks like a lot of damage is out there for Becker. Spark is just pretty much postered up on this Orisa with the Zenyatta. That's a lot of damage. I'm just gonna keep on mentioning how much Discord Orb can help a team when this map, Junkertown, is so wide open.
Well, not even that. The Discord Orb mixed with the fact that you have 2 snipers on your team. If you're hitting whoever the Discord's on, they're going down in one shot. And I love watching the Hanzo play on this map. Oh my God, Trev getting what an incredible shot. The angles from Trev. Someone get this man a protractor because he's got it down par. The physics from this guy.
Yeah, Trev knows every single peak on this map. Widowmaker is more than a comfort pick. It is a pure ego pick for him. Matt lines up this Dragon Strike through the staircase. That is a choco that is way too tight for Becker to stay in any longer. Discord on to Magic Otter again, and that's just going to keep him challenged all game. Not able to stay on Sacred End and pressure the Widowmaker as much as he would like. Goes in now for another slam, but Sacred End ready for this one. Almost does enough to take down that Wrecking Ball. Now going for the hook shot up top. Can't get that sniper shot past the shield, but it's going to be Xavius closing in and landing the arrow on the moon, and the payload keeps pushing.
It keeps pushing, and so does the rest of Becker. I love seeing Hanzo on this map because earlier we were talking about all of the line of sight opportunities. When you have those Dragon Strikes, you're able to bait people out from that line of sight, and when you have to move and you have a Widowmaker, you have a Hanzo on you, it's not a good time. However, we are going to see the switch come out. Matt swapping over to the Doomfist, Trev going back to the Tracer. So I'm interested to see once Moon drops the Supercharger, if he's going to switch back over to the Demon.
Very good pick onto the Mercy to start things off here, but Trev on the Tracer, very warmed up on this hero. Finds not just the Widow, but also Securin as well. Matt comes out of spawn with a thunderous roar and a rocket punch to take down Nape. Not done there, lands the slam and the uppercut, and will deal with Spark.
Dang, Matt, chill, dude. He was right in their whole entire team. We even saw the Batfield come up, and he didn't care. He just played around it. He said, I'm going to wait for you to step out of that circle. It was almost like the Sea Bear episode of SpongeBob. You know, he saw the circle on the ground, and he met eye contact with the rest of Fanshawe. Or the rest of Becker.
Speaking of Becker, changing up their composition quite drastically. Sacred End over to the Tracer now to match Trev. And Xavius back onto that Reaper. We know him so well for playing Spark onto the Winston. Going full dive with this tank line. Talk about dive. Magic Otter comes in on this engage. Dropping the Wrecking Ball mines, and that's going to zone off the point. Becker can really no longer act on anything here. It seems like they're just cornered. Nape, yeah, just stuck on that mega health pack. Really had no escape with that Wrecking Ball mine there. And that kill will be collected. Moon keeps the tempo up by popping the Supercharger. And Matt leaves nowhere to hide for Securin. That is pretty unfortunate for an Ana player. There is no escaping the grasp of this Doomfist ultimate.
And Matt obviously making the right choice switching over to Doomfist on this third point. We talked about it earlier, but man, it's a lot less open. You have a lot more of that corner you have to play around, and Matt's showing value on this Doomfist. He's getting 2 or 3 picks every fight, and we're seeing the swaps come out from both teams now. Looks like Becker's opting for a more dive comp. Spark playing the Winston. We are going to see the bomb take out Securin in that small, cramped, enclosed space.
And Trev is never not doing something. You can see some members of Fanshawe just hang out on this high ground and wait to engage. Trev is always doing something, always looking for a target to just pester if he can't go for that final blow, but still just trying to stay active, land a pulse bomb any chance he can, set up on the high ground sometimes, but really wants to combo in with that wrecking ball and that Doomfist. You see going in on that staircase. Trev does get slept though, almost cleaned up, but very quickly woken by Sacred End and then recalled to safety. It's still going to be tough though for this Becker team to make any progress on this payload, as it's a very disjointed fight, to say the least. Moon has got to take down Spark. It seems like the front line's looking weaker on both sides. Pulse Bomb whipped by Sacred End. Acrio on the Zenyatta. Now we're seeing it from both teams at different points in Junkertown. It should be Fanshawe closing out this defense here with just 2 points given up and a very hard to defend map. This is looking very good in their favor. Becker is going to have one hell of a defense.
I'm telling you now, I completely agree, but I think that the biggest problem for Becker in that map was Acrio's Zenyatta. The whole time. We talked about it before the map started. You said you love Zen. Every time he dove, every time Spark tried to get an inch, he got discorded. And every time Becker was looking to make a push, it felt like that Discord orb where you can only throw it on one person at a time. It looked like that he was breaking the game and there was discords on everyone. They left them no room. And Becker, did get a very impressive push. They did get it past the second point, halfway through the third point. That is a very hard area to get through, but Fanshawe looking very strong on this map on defense. Now that they're switching over to offense, it could be anyone's game, but we are going to go back to the first point, so we are probably going to see a repeat of the picks that we saw on first point.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see the double snipers again. But Nuke, just to talk a little bit more about Zenyatta, who we don't see right now, kind of the essence of what makes Overwatch an esport, because as the skill gets higher, the skill ceiling with Zenyatta and what he's able to do gets so much higher as well, because focus fire is really what makes this game an esport. 6 members of your team all shooting at the same thing can really delete it, but as everyone has seen so far, the supports at higher ranks can keep things alive for so long. Zenyatta kind of mitigates that and makes the job of damage dealers and tanks a lot easier in finding those final blows.
You said it yourself earlier, he's a glass cannon. He's going to put out the damage, and he's going to do a good amount of heals. However, you blow on him, he's dead. You just hit him once with the Reinhardt hammer, couple shots from a Tracer, it's over. If you dive that Zenyatta. But we're seeing that Acrio's having the capability to stay alive. Trev getting hit with the body shot and looking like he's going to need therapy after that one. Coming down, taking a second, reloading, getting back on point. Fanshawe looking to push their advantage, and we are seeing an interesting choice from Becker, not opting to hold this first area, letting Fanshawe push into the second kind of turnaround onto the point and looking to bait them into the open area. I say that's interesting because we've seen Fanshawe really shine in these open areas.
Yeah, and it's interesting with these snipers, it's kind of just like playing hot potato. Which team wants to poke around the opening angle the least? Which team is respecting the other team's snipers the most? And right now we see it's Becker doing that as Trev lands the headshot on the Sacred End, but gets answered, because that's what we're talking about. Becker realizes that, listen, this Fanshawe team has some serious firepower in their snipers. We've got to play careful and make them maybe poke around these corners just a little bit too far, and then we can trade out with the rest of these kills.
That's exactly what they're doing with Magic and Magic Otter. That's what we've seen the past 3 pushes. Magic Otter fighting upstream at this point, not really able to find the picks that he needs. And man, oh man, Xavius just popping off on every hero he decides to play. Him and Sacred End are a threat to be, or a threat to be reckoned with.
I knew what you were trying to say. A force.
Of
pretty much
course!
the same thing in this one. Speaking of force, High Noon getting popped from Matt does deal with Yuchi and the Supercharger, but it still looks like Becker has the tempo in this fight. Magic Auto getting another kill onto a sniper, but still the defense looks rather stable.
You're talking about tempo, and you can't talk about tempo without talking about ult economy, because when you're looking at ult economy in these games, it's almost like a dance from either teams. When you're saving your ults for defensive plays, when you're, pairing up ults for just oppressive offensive plays, and we are looking, if you look at the screen now, we're seeing multiple ults come out from Becker. The massive dragon's gonna come out mid. However, Magikarp are gonna get the mines down and stop Xavius in his tracks. Oh no! The flux coming through. It's gonna almost find one. Nape dropping down, trying to get some charge off of Magic. Oh. Magic is gonna pick Nape. He's gonna fall back into the mines, and Spark taking out Moon.
Wow, there is so much damage in this game, so much tension in these sightlines. You really can't choose to aggress around these corners for any longer than a second, or a sniper has your number. We saw Sacred End keeping tabs on Trev, who was on a very long journey of a flank into the back line of Becker, pretty much close to their spawn, and then Sacred End just flicked around to the front and landed the final blow onto Matt as he was fluxed up. Supercharger coming out now from Moon, amplifies up this Fanshawe squad. They retreat now behind the outhouse. That's Becker. Spark does go down the front line, looks a little bit weak. They've got to retreat somewhere, but it does look like they get the tank back into the mix. That's going to be one extra shield. Transcendence pop now from Acrio. That's going to keep Fanshawe alive through any amount of damage that comes their way. Trev uses that to close in on Sacred End and land that final blow with the headshot. Xavius, though, able to pick Acrio the minute that Transcendence is over, and Fanshawe collects 2 on the back of that pulse bomb from Trev, and it seems like they should have enough to take this first point.
That was so back and forth. I was for sure Becker was stopping the defense here and holding them at the first point. However, you don't want to downplay the fact that this took them that entire time to get to the first point with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. This is not looking very good for Fanshawe on attack. A prediction I would not have made at the beginning of this game. We saw Xavius trade kills with Trev the entirety of that first push, and it came down to Trev finding the value on the pulse bomb, finding 2. That was the nail in the coffin for the first push. Tell me, Yelk, would you have predicted that Becker having the strong defense in the open area that we're seeing?
It does seem like Fanshawe is the stronger team out in the open, but this is Becker's map pick, and they're strategizing second point very well. The flux is only going to be enough to find Acrio this time, as Matt finds a pair with that High Noon again, and Spark goes down after being stunned by him as well. Moon pretty much living rent-free on this payload now. Nothing really dealing with this Orisa to dislodge the tank, when really it's just Matt and Trev around the outside doing so much work, keeping the pressure away from the tanks.
Yeah, we saw the fumble. We talked about a fumble earlier, and unfortunately that was a fumble now. Becker on the back foot. They were trying to get back to point. They got staggered heavy, and now it's the last and third point of Junkertown. Becker needing to hold here, because if Fanshawe makes it halfway, that's it. They only have to make it to the corner.
I've seen Fanshawe dissect this point time and time again this season. They just go in so early with these DPS, and you have to respect it. You have to turn around. You've got to give up ground, and sometimes it's still not enough. That pulse bomb does get beautifully eaten by Nape, but still, it's just a flashy play in a losing fight, as Trevor's already done more than enough damage to put Becker in a very uncomfortable situation. Just 2.96 meters left for this payload to reach the finish line, and that is it. We are tied up at 2 nuclear. This is gonna be one heck of a Champions Division final, and we might not be done for 3 or 4 more maps.
You know what? I'm perfectly cool with that, because the action that we're seeing is nothing short of spectacular, Yelk. And let's see, I think this was the tracer bomb coming out from Trev. He dove in, popped it off. That's what we're gonna see exactly. They came back, taking Yuchi and Xavius. That was a massive play, and I think really set in motion the entirety of that snowball that we saw on that map from Fanshawe.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how 2 members of Becker found themselves in range of that pulse bomb. It didn't stick anything. It seemed like they could have avoided it. I think it is solely what captured that first point for Fanshawe. If Trev doesn't find 2 with that pulse bomb, they might not even take this map.
So You didn't catch that. Okay, so it was Magic Otter, I believe. No. Might have been Moon. It was Moon or Magic Otter. They were on the Orisa. They pulled them back. Yeah, it was Moon. Pulled them back onto the pulse bomb. That's what killed them. Because they jumped out. Yeah, with the ult. She threw the ult down on the ground. It missed him. And then the throw came out, or sorry, the pull came out, and it pulled them both back.
Wow, that's a pretty insane halt for Moon. Yeah, I did not catch that either time through, but jeez, I mean, these players can combo anything with a pulse bomb, it seems like, and Trevor's hit a lot all match long. Nuke, what map are we going to next? Control, right?
Yeah, we're gonna see Control. Honestly, we could see anything. I want to see Li Zhang. I love Li Zhang.
Yeah, Li Zhang probably my favorite Control map as well. I like Ilia's just because Well is a very awkward point that you just have to navigate around. It's just the Spartan pit of doom that players can often get hooked or pulled or whatever into and then fall to their fate. But Nuke, I do believe we're going to be going to a quick break yet again, but we should have map 5 in just a few minutes, so stick around. This is always fun.
Alrighty, so obviously I was wrong. Jacob was right. Jacob came out, called it, said if Fanshawe got map 3, that he thought they were going to take map 4. We're at a 2-2 score line, and it's shaping up to be another good one for Overwatch. I don't think we've had a bad Overwatch match yet.
We certainly haven't. This is pretty awesome. It really shows and speaks to the divisional model. But this is another thriller. Looks like we could be heading to 7. And I was laughing as we came on here, Jim, because we're on a 3-minute delay from the actual live stream itself. So we're watching the end of the 4th map. We don't even know who won, and we're going on here to talk about it. So Fanshawe's evened it up, and here we go. It's 2 apiece, and let's roll, baby. This is a good one.
You know, Becker did such a good job there at Junkertown on the first point, and then just at the very end got pushed off. That very easily could have been a Becker hold there at first point.
And now, have we flipped the script, right? I mean, now does the pressure fall back on Becker? Is Fanshawe just going to steamroll here and just continue this momentum and roll on to victory? It seems like they've gotten their feet underneath them. We talked about it during the first break, Jim, after the second map, that they needed to sort of reconnect and get on the same page. They obviously did that. A couple close maps there, but they obviously did that, and now here they come, and they might be well on their way to claiming this title.
They very much could be. I think you're right, though. I think it now the mental's on the other side. I think Fanshawe went, we might have been, a little high on the hog here. We might have been not taking this as seriously as we need to. Fanshawe came back out, and now, they came out swinging, and now it's Becker's turn going, we got that 2-0. We're good. We got this. They got to calm down, take that deep breath, just find the center, and just get right back at it. Because, like I said, with the exception of a couple of key moves there by Fanshawe right at the end of first point, that could have been an easy first point hold for Becker.
I agree, and I think that now this 5th map obviously becomes huge. I mean, this is probably the one that decides it either way. I'm not saying that the team that wins the 5th necessarily wins, but it certainly gives you a serious leg up on claiming a title. So huge one. If you're with us, we appreciate it, and we invite you to stick around, because this one probably be the best of the night, because both teams know what's at stake, and both teams know if they get this one, they're in good shape.
Oh yeah, putting yourself on match point is never a bad thing. Mr. Producer, are we good to throw it back, or do they need more time? All right, so Jacob, what are you gonna do? What do you plan on doing tonight? We're actually gonna get some sleep. We've got an Overwatch match that's not gonna take us till 4 a.m. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna sleep. I haven't slept. I wish I could do the math. I haven't slept. What's today? Thursday. I haven't slept since Tuesday for about 3 hours.
Yeah, so I'm in about the same boat.
Tuesday to Wednesday, I slept for about 3 hours. Nothing last night, so we're gonna sleep. And then we're gonna figure out what Friday looks like, and we're gonna try to get through Friday, and then we're gonna get to the weekend. And then we're gonna be happy. And I know that our team is gonna meet, and we're gonna talk about what went well and what need to do a better job of as we start thinking about the summer and the fall going forward.
No rest for the wicked. Already thinking about the fall there, Jacob. Already thinking about the fall.
We're thinking about the summer. The fall's not even here yet. We're thinking about what we're going to do in the summer, what we're going to do for some tourneys, what we're going to do for maybe some crossover championship type events. But this team, man, we live and breathe with it. We love it, and we want to provide for some experiences. We've had a lot of folks reach out and say, hey, can we do a Valorant tournament over weekend? Can we do, whatever? And the fact that people want it is awesome. The fact they want to do it with us is awesome. And we want to provide that opportunity. And they won't be on campus, certainly, but let's have some fun. Let's see what we can figure out.
I am right there with you, Jacob. But for now, we are going to throw this back over to the two men on the cast. They're doing a great job. I'm having a fun time listening to them. I'm hoping this goes 7 just so we can hear them finish it out.
I got us. And we are back! Record scratch! It's 2-2, and we are in the finals of the championships division. I am Chase Nuclear Nukem. You can follow me on Twitter at Chase Nukem if you're feeling spicy. And I am joined tonight by Yelkrub. You can follow him on Twitter at, what's the at, Yelk?
Alt_charge. If you're an Overwatch player, you should know it pretty easily. Thanks for that, Nuke.
100%. Okay. We talked about it right before we went to break, and thanks to our panel who took over for a minute so we could rest these beautiful voices, these beautiful throats we got here. So we're going to Control. We talked about what we want to see. For me, it's Li Zhang. I'd love to see the Li Zhang pick. What did you want to see?
I wanted to see Ilios, and we're both disappointed, Nuke.
Yep, because it looks like, just like the tundra in the middle of the desert, we're seeing it through the fog, through the thickness. Oasis is coming into view. That's where we're headed to next for map 5.
And it's going to be very interesting. Of course, Fanshawe has all the momentum in this game, but Becker stole the first Control map out from under them, and they're going to be looking to just go right back to that game mode they're so good at and jump back out in front of this game. Whichever team wins, it is the most important map of the series so far. That'll set the win condition for the final. I mean, once you got 3, that's match point. Then the other team is playing with their backs against the wall, the season on the line. If you're Becker, I mean, this could be your collegiate esports on the line. This is the last Becker game ever.
And I got to take a second and say, I am so honored to be casting this last game for Becker with you, Yelk. And, just to give a shout out to these players, I know that they're probably going to be looking for other opportunities when everything goes down. So if you're in chat, spam the Becker players, hit them up, tell them, we're here to cheer for you. Even if we're on Fanshawe, even if we're Fanshawe fans, let them see the love. But Fanshawe coming back in the series, resuscitating themselves. They were down pretty heavily. As you would say, they were down bad, Chief, and it was not looking good. They were 0-2. They brought it back now, winning Volskaya and Junkertown. Now it's a 2-2 series.
Now it is a 2-2 series, and this is probably going to be the most even map we've seen the entire time, because Control, this is not a map pool where the maps deviate too much. There's not too much you can shake up in your strategy, so it should be just as close as we saw on Busan. Spark is back on the Reinhardt. That is crucial for this Becker team as they will engage on this first point. Ryan can really do a lot on this map. That shield is just tailor-made for all of these chokeways, and he can just buy a lot of ground for his team, but they've got to be careful as Fanshawe running this mobile comp again, just postures around the outside, not letting anything look too weak, and then all engaging at once, just swarming around Becker, moving in on the front line, trying to find the squishy, and Becker backs off.
They have to back off, and it's a force to be reckoned with. We've talked about this comp all evening. They have no frontline really, but who needs a frontline when everyone is everywhere? I'm actually interested to see Efi on this Ana. I don't know if the shots are going to come off. The accuracy's got to be top tier. Securin is going to pop the field very early as Becker is looking to make the repose on point.
Magic Otter does go down, though. That amplification matrix powered up Becker for just long enough to take down the main tank, but Matt now copying the Reaper gets a little bit of healing. Sacred Endo already made the play. The High Noon finding Trev, finding Acrio, and taking care of the copied Matt, who then goes down finally to Xavius. Moon does get one kill on the exit here, but I don't believe Fanshawe will remain on this point.
Wow, Yuchi finishing off EP2 with the... I feel like that was almost a fist bump from support to support, real recognized real. However, Sacred End taking out the entirety of the backline, I guess if you even want to call it a backline of Fanshawe, it seems like the team is just diving all over the place, and it's very hard to take them out when they are everywhere. But that's the whole point of the Brawl comp. That's what Becker is shooting for. Matt and Trev taking out Sacred End and Yuchi. Xavius looking to try to even this up, and the ultimate's going to come out. The Death Blossom is going to get eaten. Matt and Trev still pushing the advantage, taking out Securin, and now Xavius, they're going to retake point, and it's going to tie up the percent.
And that's going to be very tricky now for Becker to get back onto this one. They're going to have tank ultimates, the amplification matrix as well, but some heavy hitters coming online for Becker. Matt's copy usually takes everything that Becker has in their ultimate economy to deal with, and they've still got the tank ultimates online as well. Slam comes in early. That's going to connect on the Moon, and the High Noon takes down a pair. Pulse Bomb gets eaten again by Nape. At least he's been on the ball when it comes to that. Becker now just still steamrolling into this point. It seems like they've taken all the ground away from Fanshawe, taking care of the Diva mech. Now Moon no longer in the suit. Efi not even putting up a fight, choosing to reset back to spawn.
Moon and the High Noon indeed, almost like a children's book or a song. We are seeing the muses from either team really kick it into gear, and Becker, now a force to be reckoned with. They're sitting at 49%. Oh no, Matt ulting, gonna find a massive Earth Shatter, taking out 3. It's gonna get very low. Nape gonna find Matt as well with the response Diva Bomb, and that may be a solid defensive hold from Becker.
It is crazy how they held that. Securin was able to use that amplification matrix, but Matt just completely countered it. Slammed down 4 members of Becker with that Earth Shatter, but the Diva Bomb thrown in from Nip collected the kill onto him after the copy was over, and that caused Fanshawe to reset, but they're going again in now. Matt gets the nano boost and closes right onto Sacred End's head. Takes care of the hit scan, now can just rule the skies freely, really nothing to contest him. Goes in with the Mercy Pocket from Acrio, focusing beams down, Spark and a flash. And he's not done there. Goes in. Trev throws the Pulse Bomb. That one comes up. Empty zones Becker away from that corner of the point they were bunkered up in. And now with those targets split, Fanshawe starts to find kill after kill. Nuke the flip coming through. And they've got to hold on to this for 30 more seconds.
Honestly, this is looking unfortunate for Becker as we're looking at Fanshawe's side. They have 2 ultimates, and Matt already at 78%, just one fight after that incredible Earth Shatter that we saw at the beginning of the last fight. Sparks, Earth Shatter could really be a make or break right now for Becker. We're gonna hear the bombs come out from both sides. Magic Otter's really only gonna find Securin, and we're gonna see the Earth Shatter come out. Spark's gonna get purpled though, and Trev is there in the backline to make sure it doesn't happen. Matt's gonna get nano, 33 health. Is it gonna be enough to keep him alive? Looks like it's not, but it looks like it's not gonna matter.
Yeah, no, good job by Fanshawe to close out that points with the ults they had. I liked how they saved that nano boost for a very long time to put onto Matt, just to make sure that there was not going to be any funny business with these stall heroes. We've seen that so much this game. I mean, first round on Oasis, 99-99. Pretty much what I expected, Nuke. What do you think?
Unfortunately, the same exact prediction, and my heart is racing, Yelk. This is such a close series. We're 2-2, and at 99% on these control maps, it almost makes me feel like while it will be a win-win situation to see either of these teams take the championship, it's also going to be a lose-lose situation because they're putting in so much work. Both of these teams honestly could play at the division above and be perfectly fine because they are showing that they are the champions of the NECC, no matter who wins this series.
Just a couple of workhorse teams out there so far, securing the support, getting in the mix on the kill feed, taking down Efi, but Xavius gets deleted in a very fast trade, making this one 5 versus 5. Matt taking some cover behind a palm tree, just wide enough to stop those bullets coming in, gets a little bit of health, and takes down Spark. Fanshawe now looking like they might be able to stabilize this despite losing the first pick early.
Sacred End is going to take out Trev, and that looks to be an upper hand for Becker. But Efi is going to get the res on Trev, and now it's just an all-out brawl on point. Sacred End trying to find something with the Pulse Bomb. It's not. However, Spark is going to dive in. Matt on the back end going to take out Sacred End, and Zave and Spark finding value in Moon and Efi. Acrio going to take out Securin, and Trev again taking out Xavius. I feel like Trev is just taking out so many on the side of Becker.
Yeah, Trev's been insane on Tracer pretty much all game. We see on both sides how that hero really gets involved with a Winston. Whenever we see Sacred End get very low HP when he's trying to make a play, Spark comes in the nick of time with Winston, has the bubble on cooldown, and gives him an area to operate. We saw it that fight not once but twice. In the end, it wasn't enough, but Becker did charge up some ultimates. They'll go again this fight, likely opt for the high ground as Spark goes in now, but he's booped away by Acrio, goes up for attempt number 2, this time with the Primal Rage. Doesn't find anything to bounce around instead. It's going to be 2 members of Becker falling early. Yuji does get the kill onto the Mercy. Now there's no supports left for Fanshawe as Becker are able to stay in this one. Matt does sticky bomb down Xavius after he gets that kill onto Lucio, but Matt not able to get too far. Spark tracks them down, but Magic Otter finds him in return. Scrappy fight after scrappy fight, Nuke, but Fanshawe stay on top of this one.
Yelk, that's the best way to describe these fights is scrappy because it's just so back and forth. And Efi doesn't have enough reses to go all around, but it seems to be enough. The reses are really coming through clutch because when you're in a 6v5 situation and you're down, getting that person back up that's creating all the difference for your team is going to determine these fights. Nate looking for a clutch Diva bomb, and it is not going to find anyone. Sacred End going to get the pick on Moon. We're going to see Nape dive into the back line, but as he does that, Trev and Matt are just menaces on this Becker squad. They need an answer, and they need an answer quick.
Everything is starting with these Fanshawe DPS. Matt on this next fight is going to have the copy, definitely going to use it as well. Fanshawe sitting on an economy to close out this Oasis round in a lot quicker fashion than I think we were predicting. Have a very good chance at getting the 100-0 here on second point. And now Becker start to engage. They've only got the high noon to work with. Xavius trying to set it up very well, but he gets slammed down. Matt finding 3, Acrio with the 4th. A final blow on the Spark, no Diva left in the mech, and overtime will certainly tick down. Flashy headshot landed to finish off Nape, and finishing off Oasis is Fanshawe taking their first lead of the night.
You know, one Reinhardt is enough.
Yeah.
But when you have 2 Reinhardts, that's a no bueno. That's a no bueno, and we're gonna see it here. Matt got the Earth Shatter and just tore apart the backline, shredding the entirety of Becker's backline. Matt on the Echo is just so scary. 70% kill participation. He was there every fight.
What a nut. That guy is a freak. That headshot onto the Diva at the end of that play of the game was just so clean, as if the rest of the play wasn't what won them that map, but just for some extra style points at the end, had to hit that downward flick shot for the 1 hit.
And just like we saw Spark earlier, hitting those buckets with the fire strike, we're seeing Matt do the same thing with almost like a football. He's getting the touchdowns, he's getting the headshots where it's needed. Enough of the sports references. We're going to go into the next map. And once again, because we're seeing some questions in chat, I imagine that some people have joined us afterwards, and I'll make sure to post it in Twitch chat so you guys know. But finals are a best of 7 format, right? So the map order is control, hybrid, assault, escort, control, hybrid, escort, control. So map 1, we saw Busan. Becker took that 2-1. Map 2, we saw Hollywood. Becker took that 3-2. 3, we switched over to Volskaya for that 2 CP assault. Fanshawe took it 3-2. Map 4, Junkertown, we went to it. Fanshawe took it 3-2 on that last hold. And we just finished map 5, our another control map. And Fanshawe's going to take that again in a 2-0 fashion. Going into map 6, we're going to see the hybrid. Tell me, is Scrims Row coming out?
Oh, man. It's Becker's pick. I would imagine Scrims Row is coming out. They do seem to be looking very good on Brawl. They've just got to play with the confidence they had in the first 2 maps. It seems like the wind has kind of been taken out of their sails, to say, and Spark doesn't seem to stay on this Reinhardt for as long as I would personally like to see him on. But then again, Oasis functions very differently than most Brawl maps. It can kind of be hard to find your footing. I think they do go Scrims Row. Nuke, I think you're going to be right about this one. I think we end up in London here.
I think that's the call. You can also, at the beginning of the map, you can have that Widow pick, the counter Widow play. And we saw Becker really shine through on the Widow. We had the prediction that Trev was going to find a lot more value on the Widowmaker, but Sacred End showing his aim, and it was true the entire time. Headshot after headshot, they struggled on the first point of Junkertown, and I think that he could really shine as well on this Kings Row that we may be seeing. Not quite sure yet, but there's one thing for certain. Fanshawe is 1 map away from being the Champions Division champions here in the 2021 Spring Champions Division for the NECC match.
That's a whole lot of champions.
Lots of champions. You know what? I'm looking at the screen right now, Yelk, and there's 12 champions on the screen. All of them. Both sides of the teams in my book are champs. They've had extraordinary play tonight. But the momentum from Fanshawe is really starting to pick up.
Yeah, and Nuke, seems like we were both wrong on that map pick. It's not going to be Kings Row. It's going to be Blizzard World, so pretty interesting. It seems like Matt, again, finds himself on a very good map for the Echo. And second point, I'm seeing Trev play the Widowmaker. I've seen him do it in multiple games in the postseason already, in the regular season as well. Takes control of that gun, that high ground up on second point, and pretty much rules the map from there on Widowmaker. It's going to be very difficult once the map progresses to that stage for Becker to find an answer to that. Nuke, what do you think is the best way to answer a Widowmaker? Because as we've seen, Wrecking Ball sometimes can't always get the job done.
Especially not on this point, right? Because you just have these very, very tight and small areas that you're holding at Widow, and it's putting you out in the open. But I feel like the Wrecking Ball is just not going to get enough value, especially, love Spark to death. He's one of my favorite Rhines in the entirety of the NECC, but the Wrecking Ball, he's not just in the front line enough to do the damage. I think it will be enough to answer the Widowmaker if we have Sacred End on the Widowmaker himself, maybe even switching over to the McCree. This guy's aim is a force to be reckoned with, and if they are out just sitting on point, they're going to be a sitting duck. But this is a fan favorite theme park that we are going to see. It is the staple Blizzard map, and Overwatch, a game by Blizzard. It's a fitting map to go to. However, I am kind of very surprised that we're not going to see Kings Row. Blizzard World is a lot more of an open map in the first 2 points. Now you get to the last point, right? It's a lot more closed. We probably will see the brawl comps, maybe a double bubble, possibly. But in terms of just countering the Widow, I think we either see Nape switch targets a little bit more and focus that Widowmaker, knock him off the high ground and stay on top of him, or Trev is just going to go undefeated. He's going to dominate the entirety of this first point of Blizzard World.
It really has come down to the DPS so much in this one, hasn't it? Usually in a lot of the games we cast, The main tanks and the off tanks, they make the most impact. The ultimates are the biggest, but we've seen Trev just slip around this back line of Becker this entire match long and get 2Ks sometimes at the start of fights single-handedly, really creating windows for Fanshawe. And on the other side of things, Sacred End has looked pretty unstoppable, but somehow Fanshawe has found a way to stop him enough where they're leading 3-2. So it's going to be interesting. I'm keeping my eye on the DPS as always on Blizzard World. We should be getting into the map in just a few moments. But Nuke, just want your thoughts here on the NECC Overwatch action. We've seen a lot of the divisions expand and competition has gotten very tight amongst them. Last semester in the fall, we had some pretty standout schools in their respective divisions. This season, obviously not the case. We can see it in this match. We see it in the other matches you casted for the finals yesterday. What's been your thought on this new semester at the NECC?
Well, last year, we saw a lot of sweeps in the finals. And when you're looking at competitive integrity, you know, a little bit of transparency for you guys watching. I'm on the board of directors here at the NECC, so I try to help with the competitive integrity and make sure that we have the best competition possible here. And honestly, my favorite and the best grassroots-focused league in collegiate. Now, that last season, we saw a lot of sweeps. This season, I talked about it earlier, we're seeing, even if you look at Rainbow Six, you look at Valorant, these games are going the distance. These sets are going the entire way. It's not a sweep at all by any means. We're going to Game 7 and almost all of the matches that we've seen. And for me, that is a good problem to have. You want that problem because that means that your teams are fired up and you have the people in the finals who are supposed to be in the finals. I did get this in from headquarters, however, NECC headquarters, while you were chatting with me, Yelk. It seems as though Fanshawe banned King's Row.
Okay, interesting. I mean, you do get that option once you win a map, and if I'm looking at how this game has gone so far, definitely get the Brawl map off the board for Becker. Get them to play on Blizzard World. So it does seem like Fanshawe have created an atmosphere where they can actually set themselves up to win this match point, but it's going to be very tricky as Becker postures for their first fight against Sacred End on the Sombra here. I do like that pick for these capture points. You see the hack lands and Magic Otter is no more. Just like that, tank dealt with. Xavius now going in against Sacred End, looking for a second hack. This time trying to get something off of this high ground that has this boat. And the Winston engages. Spark does get slept on that engage, but Nape is there to bail him out. The anti lands, and Spark playing with very low HP. Manages to stay alive, but not for long. Matt does get in the mix. Takes him down with a body shot. Yuchi falls as well. Matt gets a second, and it's going to be Becker. Searching for answers, scratching their head with 3 minutes on the clock. How do they capture first point Blizzard World?
Yeah, we saw it at the beginning of that, but Sacred End getting the hack onto Magic Otter was a massive push for Becker. I think that they're really going to find the picks that they need in this dive comp if Sacred End is able to hack the target that they're looking for first. Now, they were sitting back up on that back of point, so that's going to deny a lot of the capability to get the hacks off from Sacred End, as he's now maybe looking at getting Trev here. Trev is going to dip out, say, deuces, I am not playing here. Spark's looking to take corner of point. They are going to get the first tick from that. That's a pretty good value to see. Trev, however, going to take out Sacred End. Not ending it, sticking Yuchi, and Becker now having to back out in order to regroup as a full team.
I mean, I would personally be completely fine spectating Trev for the rest of this game because it seems like he's just able to conjure up 2Ks out of nowhere. Matt, that time, landing the stickies onto Secure and taking him down, taking down Xavius as well, landing the copy onto the Sombra. You do not want this copy EMP to fly. This should not find that much value. It is looking like it's gonna find nothing as time should expire on this ultimate. Just throwing it up for some style points, but Matt doing a number as well as Trev. Magic Otter was dealt with once on the Wrecking Ball, but I don't know if the Sombra is enough to keep them through these long fights they're having.
Yeah, get Sacred End off Sombra. I didn't even consider Matt switching to Sombra and getting those massive EMPs. That's 100% to cast. That's
scary.
Terrifying. I don't want to see that mid-fight because Matt, from what we've seen from this guy, he's going to get 2 EMPs every time he ults. It's not just going to be 1. That's not going to be enough. He is out for blood, and he wants it. He's going to get hacked, though, as as we see Sacred End not allowing it, and Spark gonna knock Moon off the map. Sacred End pick Acrio, and this may look like first point going to Becker.
That was a pretty good combo with the EMP. Spark comes in with the Primal Rage, knows that Moon will not be able to fortify, and just knocks him right off the dock. Doing a little cannonball was Moon that time. Fanshawe's gonna have to set up and take control of these high grounds quick before Becker can just capture them with this dive comp. They're on already aggressing towards spawn. They find Efi.
And that's gonna be a massive stagger. You know, that's Sienna. She only has 2 granny legs. She has to power walk the distance to get back. And Becker, I hope they have some. They have 1 person on payload. Oh no, Trev with the pulse bomb. It's not gonna stick though, and they are looking to push the advantages. We're seeing the Kamehameha from Securin. It is gonna take out Moon. Spark looking for Acrio, and now we're seeing for the first time in a hot minute, Fanshawe on the back foot, but they're quickly popping back. Trev and Magic Oiler getting that value. Matt, we didn't even see, switching over to the McCree and coming out with the horseshoe on the ground.
Matt coming back into the fight, giving Fanshawe some life in this one. But they are going to have to fight off the EMP once again from Becker. Pretty much every time it seems like they've used one, and Sacred End does get them quickly. Becker does win the fight, so it's going to be very difficult. Maybe Matt lands the stun, maybe Acrio does, but if nobody does, they've got to back up quickly, retreat, or just give up the fight and take a quick reset. But going into the high ground now is Becker, posturing on the first jump. Spark comes in. D-drop gets popped, as does the high noon from Matt. Supercharger's going to keep Becker at bay, at least for now. Fanshawe controls this high ground. Sacred End has been dealt with, as has Trev. That time by Nate, both tanks, teaching the DPS how to do their jobs. It's a 5 versus 5. Moon just hanging out on this high ground, still boosted up by that supercharger, doing tons of damage in onto that Diva mech, but it's not enough to take down Nate. In fact, it is enough to take down Spark. And Xavius, both trading out kills there. Nuke, this one's awfully even. I'm not sure which team is going to have the bigger impact right now. Coalescence getting popped, as will the EMP, and now the damage for Becker. Start to get in the mix, secure and finding a kill with the Coalescence to keep him alive. What a long fight, Nuke, and Becker coming out on top.
Barely coming out on top. That was a hard fought fight from both teams. And Xavius switching over to the Reaper. That's going to be a detriment for Magic Otter and Moon, who are going to be hacked and have a Reaper in their face. What do you do to that? I really think the answer here is Matt switching back over to the Echo, because that air support, they're going to need something to take it out, and Sacred End is going to have to reveal himself in order for that to happen. However, he has the high noon, he's getting the picks, he's creating the value. We're talking about value. They're going to the dollar store, getting all the value that they possibly can, and they're looking to push into the 3rd point.
And Becker are left with a very tricky task of moving this payload. You can see it's not exactly in the most ideal spot. They have to take the fight here, but the payload is a good 50 meters behind them. Diva Bomb comes in over the top. That's just going to zone off Fanshawe as they turtle up into that mega health pack corridor. And now re-engaging again are the tanks. It looks like Magic Otter is lost in the sauce, but he gets the nano from Efi in the nick of time. I knew pop from that is going to be enough to find Xavius, making this a 6 versus 5. Make that a 6 versus 4 as Nape goes down as well. Trev rolls into the back line, tries to burst down Spark, but the spawn door is right there to keep him safe.
Yeah, really smart high noon from Matt, trying to, just clear point, make it to where Becker has to regroup, and catching Xavius outside of his shift, outside of, his Wraith form. As soon as he came out, pop, headshot, dead. And Xavius, now looking at a Death Blossom of himself, you pair that with the EMP that could come from Sacred End, that could spell a lot of trouble, and that's exactly what we're seeing. However, the Diva is going to try to eat any of the reinforcement coming on to Xavius. They're going to look to push. It's going to take out Magic Otter. It's going to demech Moon and put them in a very comparable position. The Kamehameha coming out once again from Securin and pushing the advantage, taking out 4.
Yeah, and Coalescence can really do that, especially when the supports are already weak. Just cuts through that team like a hot knife through butter. They're going to have to finish off this map with just the beat drop nuke. And it's looking like Fanshawe. They've got plenty of answers. 15 seconds left on the clock. Certainly last fight. Yuchi drops the beat, singing their favorite song. But will it be enough to keep Becker alive through the engage? Not enough to keep Xavius alive, that's for sure. Matt putting a stop to his push. T-Macking the Diva as well. Making a 6 versus 3 as Securin falls, and Fanshawe. They're going to hold on to this third point, and it's looking good. Win condition set on match point. If they can just push it 2 points and 99 meters, they're going to be our champions.
The offense we're seeing from Becker is, nothing short of incredible, but the defense from Fanshawe is really shining through on these points. They're able to really pick apart Becker's offense and take out the people who are diving almost every time. We even saw Trev at the end there. He didn't need the pulse bomb. He had the pulse bomb, but it wasn't needed in that final push. Honestly, we saw, I think it was Yuchi popped the ultimate very early for Becker, dropped the beat as they were going in. I would have liked to have seen it back up a little bit, just wait and bait it out when they're looking to push in those final moments on point. Now that we're seeing the script get flipped, we are going to see a very solid defensive comp from Becker, as Spark is going to be back on the Ryan and Nape is going to be back on the Diva.
And this could hold down the first point pretty well for them. Reinhardt does play exceptionally well around that wall that covers up that first point, kind of wrapping around the front side of it. Sacred End looks to be on the McCree to start things off here. Him and Securin will be able to hold that high ground with the boat pretty well together. And then Nape is going to be tasked with doing more work than anyone on Diva. Not just having to shut down Matt up in the skies occasionally, but also make sure that Trev can't get too active and dangerous on those flanks.
You know what scares me, Elk?
What's that, Nuke?
These over-the-moon ults from Moon, because the Diva bombs have been wild from both sides. We've seen 2 or 3 picks constantly from these bombs. And on this first point, there's not a lot of places to go if you're stuck in the middle. So if Moon builds this ult very quickly, we could see this point get taken just as fast.
Matt goes in early, occupying the eyes of Sacred End, and now Trev has found a window to make his way into the backline. Moon does go down in the transition to Securin. They're going to have to do this one without tanks and without Trev. Make it a very quick reset with 3:30 on the clock, but maybe Fanshawe can find a pick on the exit.
As they're looking to push to, Xavier is in the front line, almost finding Efi. It's not going to be enough, but Acrio is going to fall. Sacred End is going to find the value there. And the defense from Becker really shining through. If they're able to hold this first point, we're going to go to map 7. And honestly, from what we're seeing so far, they could hold this first point. Sacred End already having the high noon. Securin already having the field. And Spark with 29 on his shatter. It's showing that he's not needing to do anything so far. He's just holding up the shield.
Yeah, just holding up the front line, but that time it looks awfully weak as Matt gets in and finds 2, taking down the Baptiste and the McCree and the Diva as well. Just a one-man wrecking ball, going in and taking complete control of that high ground. Really no help from anyone on the team except for Acrio, and that alone was enough to outduel 3 members of Becker.
It's a tale as old as time. Well, really as old as, I think, 2010 when Twitch was released. The Caster's Curse. I thought they were going to hold it. I was almost for certain they were going to hold it. It didn't happen. And now they're going to move on to the second point. 4 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. And you know what terrifies me? There's 5 ultimates on the side of Fanshawe. We're hearing them come out. The high noon from Sacred End. It's going to get shut down very early. The massive Ana nade catching Becker off guard. And Nate sitting sub 25% health. Going to find himself dead as Matt is a hurricane pulling through the Becker front line and back line.
Yeah, Matt just does not let anything get away. Neither does Trev. Really, this Fanshawe mobile composition they run doesn't let anything get out of its grasp, doesn't let anything get back to spawn safely, and we can see them now just controlling that gun, the high ground. The key to this second point, Fanshawe just have it gripped, and they're probably not going to let it go anytime soon. Any chance these DPS or these tanks get to contest, they're going to be right back up. You can see Moon going in now as Magic Otter falls a bit too early on the jump that time. Matt goes down as well, and Becker bounced back right into this fight.
Yeah, Sacred End taking out Matt there could be a solid precedent for this hold. They need to set up on this corner, They're obviously going to get back fast because they have the comp to do it. But, oh no, we're seeing someone get caught out with a sleep as well. It's Spark. The field's going to get dropped to keep him alive as he is purpled. That's going to be enough as we're seeing Matt on the Nano turning around, taking out Xavius in their backline. Yuchi's going to drop the beat to try to keep the rest of the team alive, and Matt's going to opt for the Diva choice. 55-72, grabbing the ult, but it's going to take down Acrio. Sacred End really trying to hold it together for the rest of Becker.
Matt launches the copy Diva Bomb, but it's going to find nothing. The bomb actually does find Nape as the remake animation takes a little bit longer, but Spark and Xavius find kills of their own, and Becker still looking somewhat stable, bunkered up right on top of this payload.
Yeah, this is a very hard point to catch. However, I wouldn't have expected that we would see Fanshawe have this much of a trouble with it because they have the more divey comp, and the dive comps typically seem to work better on this type of point. We are going to hear the Diva Bomb come out, and we don't see it really catch anyone. Moon, I think, really just trying to create some distance so that Fanshawe can regroup. Nate responding for an ult of his own, but he is going to get taken out as Matt sees it immediately. The Diva Bomb is going to find Acrio, though, and that's 2 down for Fanshawe. Becker, 3 down now for Fanshawe. Becker pushing their advantage.
Becker realized we've taken care of the pocket echo. We can be really as aggressive as we want. Sure, Trev is a serious threat, but really on his own, he's not going to take down 4 of us before we can just delete this front line. They rely so much, Fanshawe does, on this echo and the Mercy. That just a ton of damage for him. Speaking of a ton of damage, a Death Blossom that's going to find 3 for Xavius. Maybe getting the Wrecking Ball Magic Otter as well, and he does. Second point, still in very good possession for Becker. Just a minute 30 on the clock. They're going to have a few ultimates online. Nuke, do you think they have enough to hold it?
I think when you have a seed that's been planted for 3 years in Becker and sprouting the Death Blossom, what I'm getting at is, you know, Xavius is a junior. He's been here for a hot minute, and man, oh man, the Death Blossom was hot in that fight. It kept them on their toes, on the tootsies. They can't really do much. Fanshawe on the back end. Ooh, the High Noon almost finding Matt. He's gonna survive with maybe 10 health to his name.
And the Wrecking Ball Mine comes in now, and Becker is left with no ground to retreat to. Magic Otter not done there, though. Steps up with Matt. McCree got the High Noon now, just looking to find a target, able to find Nape's Diva Mech. Matrix doesn't last 6 seconds, only 2. Pretty easy to wait out there for the damage dealer from Fanshawe as they collect the second point, putting 2 minutes back up on the clock.
Hearing Echo High Noon just doesn't sit right with me. The voice line just doesn't sound right. I'm expecting McCree. It's weird. I don't know. But what we are going to see is Xavius is going to take out Magic Cooter. Matt's going to respond, getting revenge for Magic Cotter on Xavius.
Yeah, pretty tough play so far. It's going to be up to Fanshawe to finish this map off with just a Pulse Bomb and a Diva Bomb, but Matt's sitting at 30%. As I say that, he jumps to 50. What my point was about to be is he can have this ready in just a few seconds. Now already up to 60, and this is a Fanshawe team looking to just win this end game. Heat Drop coming out now. That's got to keep them safe, at least from the Pulse Bomb thrown out from Trev, as Becker able to find 2 picks and push back up to this payload, kicking Fanshawe back to the spawn, but with a minute left on the clock and ultimates coming online, Fanshawe could finish off this map and be your Champions Division victors.
Listening to Yuchi drop the B and Spark shatter the earth, I feel like I'm in the middle of a rave, and we're hearing both Diva Bombs come out. While it is going to reposition both teams, it's not going to find anyone. Sacred End's going to find 3 of his own, though, as the shots are hitting Magic Cotter. Taking out Sacred End, recognizing the threat, and knowing that his team needs a way to get in. Xavius sitting at 98% and looking for the flank. This could be huge for Becker.
It definitely could be. Xavius choosing the wrong time. Gets hit with the anti-nade. Matt taking care of him while also copying. The Reaper goes in. Matt has a Death Blossom of his own. Looking dangerous. Finds Nape. No Diva Mech to stop that one. Finding Spark as well. No Immortality Field left on the side of Becker either. It's looking very dicey. We've got 18 meters left to go before Blizzard World is complete, before Fanshawe finally, your Champions Division Titans all season long. They want to finish off the map. Overtime begins to tick down. No time left on the clock. No Overwatch left to play. Magic Otter falls first, but Xavius not far behind. Acrio Hymen down by Sacred End. This one is already looking dicey. Fanshawe might not finish it off. Nape with the remake! He finds Matt. The carry is down. Becker is still in this. They've got an appetite for this fight. Overtime bar still staying full. Moon goes down as well as Eevee, Magic Otter, and Trev, the last contest for this Fanshawe team. But somehow, Becker, they hold it at third point in a phenomenal Blizzard World win.
Oh my God. I started the series. I don't know what this series is. I don't know. I'll tell you this much. We started the series, and I thought I saw him cruising by, Spark in the manual car. And as I'm watching, I'm realizing everyone is running manual because the clutch is real with Becker. Stopping it with 0.78 meters left and being able to take out everyone on point. It was a massive destruction on the end of Fanshawe. They weren't able to keep up, and they had the ultimates. That's what's blowing my mind. They had 2 ultimates going into that fight, and Becker didn't have any. They charged their ults up. They were able to get there in time and flip the script at the very end of the game where it counted. Yelk, we're going into Game 7.
Yeah, Nuke, I am honestly very surprised. I was talking around the old water cooler with a couple more NECC folk, and I gave my prediction for this game, and I'm going to tell you, it was a very different scoreline than we're seeing now. I did not think Becker stood as much of a chance in this game as they've proven to have. I mean, clearly had to be holding some strats away from Fanshawe in that regular season meeting, because for Fanshawe to lose one map all season long and then for Becker to just show how beatable they are in these close games means that this Becker team, they've been there all along, and we just didn't quite know it.
I really think watching these games, both teams hit the books before this match. They were sure to study up, they were sure to strategize, and they were sure to get ready. I can't imagine the prep that went into this finals, but man, oh man, is it showing through. I gotta be honest, when we saw Matt Echo ult onto Reaper and get the Death Blossom on point, taking out 3, spinning to win, I thought that was going to be enough of a vehicle to push the payload straight into the end, but it fell short just barely. I didn't even think Becker was going to get the retouch, but Becker out here proving everyone wrong and saying, yes, we lost 0-3 in week 6 today. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the preseason or the regular season was. Heck, it doesn't even matter what happened in the earlier stages of the playoffs. This is the finals. This is it. This is for the trophy. Now that we're going into map 7, what are we going to see, Yelk? We're going back to control.
Oh my God. Are we? Or are we going to payload?
Sorry, we're going to escort. We're going to payload. Map 8 is control.
Man.
Sorry,
No, it's okay, Nuke.
I'm
I am not used to these best of 7s, man. This is a gauntlet of Overwatch. We are 2.5 hours into this bad Larry, and we are not done yet. It's going to be another 15 minutes or so before this one has finally been fought long and hard enough and withstood the test of time, the onslaught of attrition, and one team is going to come out the champions of the champion division. The NECC Spring Series for Overwatch will finally be bookended in the first year, and I could not make a prediction. This one has been way too close. I just have to wait and see, and I cannot wait to see if Becker is able to get the biggest upset of the conference so far, or if Fanshawe can just hang true and take home the belt they feel they deserve.
I'm with you, man. My heart is racing. We were talking about water cooler talk. You were at the water cooler. I was at the soda machine. We were chatting over there, man. And NECC headquarters, I don't think anyone was predicting this. I think most generally, while everyone wanted to see a very strong showing from Becker, everyone had predicted Fanshawe, taking the W because they'd shown time and time again in the regular season that they were the dominant team in the Champions Division. But Becker really taking them the mile. And I really do want to point out, you said we're 2.5 hours in. You're 100% right. And this is where the endurance test kicks in. They say that you're only able to really put in enough focus to focus on about an hour and 15 minutes of data at once. They've been going for twice that amount of time, and truly, it could go to either team, but it's really going to be a test of endurance here at the end.
Yeah, it definitely is. And talk about test of endurance. I've gone through 2 of these bad boys, and man, I just want to say, I don't know if you can read it, but you are my other half. You and the NECC community and this hell of a championship game we've had tonight. It's all part of me and what makes me happy, and I couldn't be happier to be casting this one. I've never had a best of 7 go the distance. The longest match I've casted, and I've casted I think 4 now, have gone 6 maps and then hard stop. I never get to see the 7th. The stakes are never as high as this, and I'm going to be on the edge of my seat the entire time bringing this one your way.
Well, friend, you know, I think you're on the side of me. High fives, fist bumps. We're going into the
right side. I gotta watch this.
I'm just gonna hit both sides and pray it hits. But you know what? We're going into the last map, and I don't know what the ban is. I'm sure we'll get it in here very soon from production. But I'm looking at the map, and it's saying Watch Point Gibraltar. I called it earlier when we were looking at these maps, and I'm telling you, I really think Becker has the capabilities, more so than the other escort maps that we see, to take this to the end and win the series 4-3.
I think you're right, but you got to remember, this is going to be Fanshawe's pick, and Fanshawe has looked great on their map picks so far. Really only didn't look that good on Hollywood, but since then they've proven to be a very different team. Since Hollywood, they've just come together. They've won 3 straight maps. They, of course, dropped the last one, but they have definitely found their footing, like you said earlier in this match. I think Trev and Matt are picks, but I think the tank line of Becker is going to be very tough to break. The supports are going to be there as well, just doing all they can to keep Matt and Trev and company in check. It's going to be a battle right to the bitter end, but eventually, Nuke, well, you're going to have a champion.
This is going to come down to timing. This whole map, all of this is going to come down to who's going to be able to pair ultimates, who's going to be able to keep up the communications. You know, I don't know who's shot calling on either of these teams, but they have to, their voices have to be shot after 2.5 hours of, I'm sure, screaming Ryan, right? It's busted. So this is going to be everything. It's going to come down to how well you can play under this pressure. Game 7, everything's on the line. And Fanshawe, when they get that steamroll rolling, they're rolling, man. They snowball all the way downhill. But Becker, holding the line, really stop them in their tracks, and holding it down on Game 6, going into Game 7, I said it, I want to throw it to Becker, but it could be equally either team. Fanshawe's front line is doing everything they can. Acrio and Efi keeping the team alive. And Trev and Matt just... isn't Trev and Matt Barker, aren't those the guys that made South Park? Because they are making a joke of this series with all of the headshots that we're seeing.
Yeah, they really are. They've definitely been the DPS duo that's looked a little sharper for me. Sacred, and of course, having a very good game for himself. Xavier's having big ultimates, but I think just in the mid-fight, without ultimates at all, Matt and Trev are just a threat on the kits of Tracer and Echo. No ultimate required. On the other side of things, though, I've seen Yuchi counter so much as support. And I was telling you during some intermission that I would hate to be a high-ranked support playing against high-ranked DPS, but somehow Yuchi is able to stay out there, counter things with beat drop, with the brig stun that we've seen. We've seen Zenyatta in this game as well, but the job of these support players to just counter this insane damage, these insane copies that Matt gets, Magic Otter going in with a nano boost on top of the Winston. I mean, how is there enough healing in this game to even keep Becker alive through this, let alone through 7 maps and on the doorstep of victory?
I don't know. That's what I've been trying to tell you, Yelk. I have no idea how we've gotten to this point. It's been a wild series and a wild ride. No matter what, I want to say what I said last map. We have 12 champions in this lobby because they have all put up a tremendous showing in these NECC Champions Finals.
And teams are going to be switching sides once more. So you find Fanshawe on the right, the red attacking side, and Becker defending first. Sacred End gets found out by a headshot from Trev on the Widowmaker. This is exactly what Fanshawe was planning. They want Trev on this Widowmaker. They want you to challenge him on that hit scan duel, because Gibraltar is a map where those Widowmaker sightlines and high grounds, they are far away and they are fierce.
Yeah, Moon really being a nuisance for the entirety of Becker right now, taking out a lot and really pushing this initiative. Interesting enough, we are going to see Xavius on May, a pick that I don't think that we've seen since Oasis. It's been a hot minute since we've seen him go onto the May. Sacred End on the Sombra could be a threat, but gotta get the health, gotta get those health pads hacked, and we're seeing a massive push from Fanshawe in the beginning of Watch Point.
Already taking this very peak high ground on first point and then controlling the rest of the map from there. But it's going to be Becker engaging down low, and they're going to park the payload right in this little tunnel. Players call this the car wash a lot of the time because it's just what that payload has to go through, and everyone gets a little nervous as the car starts to get washed. But we do see Fanshawe coming out on top, coming out clean, I might say, as they're able to take down Sacred End, or at least send back the rest of Becker to spawn.
And Fanshawe, like I said, it's going to come down to coordination. They coordinated that entire fight without really needing to use any ultimates. We saw Trev's bomb, and that was it. And now we're going to see the Primal Rage come out from Magic Cotter, and we're going to hear the Blizzard. It's getting snowy on point. We're going to hear the EMP pop out, and no one is safe at this point. They are looking to contest with 2 meters left, and Becker in a comparable position. Moon is gonna kill Spark, secure and hoping to get something out on point, but if they didn't have the May, they would have cleared point, and that could have been Fanshawe's. Nate's gonna respond for one of his own, and it's gonna take out both of the supports.
Wow, the defense not done. This has been a match full of Diva Bomb 2Ks at the most clutch times possible. But Trev wants to keep this attack going, able to find 1 kill, make it 2 onto Sacred End as Fanshawe push toward the end of this first point. It's just a baby Diva, uncomfortably standing on top of the point, but able to gun down Moon. Spark jumps out in the nick of time, but able to focus and beam down him is Matt. Xavius just cryo-freezing right on top of this point, just drawing the time bank out a little bit as Moon comes in with the rocket boost and bursts down the rest of Becker.
I think that that's fine. You know, at first it seemed as though Fanshawe was really going to steamroll that point. However, Becker was able to come back and put up a formidable fight, leaving only a minute left. Wow, Trev just getting all the headshots necessary on Spark there. Not enough healing was able to come out from Securin, and Spark fell immediately. But they're going to come around to the second corner now, and this is where the dive can come out to play. This is what I've been fearful for if they went to Watch Point, and that is Matt now on fire. He does have the ult, and he's sitting on top of the ship. Very fitting because he is the captain. It seems as though he is really pushing the advantage for Fanshawe.
Going very aggressive, but it's gonna bite him in the back as Efi does go down first. Securin and Acrio fall, and Fanshawe find themselves again without supports, but we've seen it not matter before, and it's not gonna matter this time. Trev finding 2, Matt with a 3rd, and now Becker on the back foot once more, this time toward the payload, this time toward the back of the attacking spawn. Matt gets the final blow there, and the payload keeps on pushing.
And I don't know if Becker is going to have time to get back for an effective hold here. Sacred End is going to be on point, though, and he does have EMP. I was once again proving me completely wrong. Xavius is going to throw the Blizzard on point. It is going to find Moon, get the D-Mech. However, Spark purpled in the front line. They're going to switch it out. Nape is now there. Yuji found Trev, and that could be the entirety of the push because Trev is dead.
Big hack on the Magic Otter, 2 into the back line. Maybe they can finish off that kill. Nape does go down, but everyone on Fanshawe looking at him. They don't have their eyes on Magic Otter. He is able to get healed back to full as the bomb flies in, but it's a high fly ball in the center field that lands right in the glove of the opposition. Sacred End does get the kill onto the Baby Diva before Moon is able to remech, and Spark once again bouncing around on the point, closes in onto those supports, makes life just menacing for EP back there. Somehow gets the nano off on the mat. He's copied on the Winston. Fanshawe making some waves, making it happen. Trying to finish off the second point with 4 meters left. They've still got ults to expend nuke. Do you think they need them?
I don't know, but I really feel as though Sacred End did not mean to translocate there. I feel as though he forgot that he had an area to translocate, and they had the EMP. I felt like they could have held that just a little bit longer. However, 2 minutes and 38 seconds on the clock. Magic really looking to push Fanshawe up here and create that space for his team to fill. They are going to have one on payload. I imagine it's Efi, and Sacred End looking to get in position, almost running into the cover fire of Xavius.
Stay in spawn. They're poking ahead way too much right now. The bomb flies in, comboed with an EMP. Maybe I'm wrong. This team knows way more about tempo than I do. Clearly, that is a lightning fast 3K to swing this one back in Becker's favor. They're going to claim the cart right here, Nuke.
I'm telling you, Becker did the same thing to me too earlier. You know, I'm patting you on the back. It's okay, man. You know, I've been there. This team likes to prove people wrong. That's why they're the underdog coming into the series as the second seed. Trev getting some picks in the backline, looking for it, but is it going to be fast enough? Because Xavius already found one on Efi, and Sparks found one on Matt and Acrio. In that entire time, Trev was only able to find Nate. However, he is going to get Yuchi too. It's a battle of the Tracers in the backline. They're now meeting on point. Sacred End taking out Moon. They're both there. Who's going to take it? It's going to be Xavius. Proving Haya, he's right here.
And Xavius did keep that pulse bomb in the back pocket for the next fight, as it looks like Becker is going to set up around these high grounds and engage the dive from there. Sacred End also sitting on that EMP. That can really bail them out of a tricky situation, but it doesn't look like Fanshawe's going to pose one just yet. Maybe a dry fight here, as the EMP finds all 6 members of Fanshawe. They barrel into that mega health pack room, not able to turtle up in time, and taken down very quickly one by one by Becker.
And if you're not tuning in, then you're not getting these free subs. Shout out to the NECC as we're in the final push of this last point, gifting all of the subs in the Twitch chat. You gotta love the production crew over at NECC, making all of your time valuable. You know, Yelk and I are here to coach you and catch you through the last bit of these games, as Matt now has his ultimate, and if it's anything like we've seen, it looks like he's choosing to go for the Diva. Is the bomb gonna find value? Already at 68, 92%. He's got the ultimate. Is he gonna flick it out on point? He looks like he's just gonna hold it there, trying to clear the point. Not gonna find anyone. However, he is gonna get remech to Trev with the bomb, the pulse bomb. Is it gonna be there? The record scratch comes through. They're not gonna touch. And Fanshawe finishing out this first push with 6.2 seconds left on the clock.
But it is payload. Time does not matter. Just completing the map will get you a chance at overtime no matter. So, still, they're not out of this one yet. Becker has a pretty good chance here. But again, it's not going to matter what the time bank says. Nuke, it seems like we're just getting the longest match of Overwatch possible. If Becker takes 3 on this one, I could see him taking 3 again, and I could see Fanshawe taking 3 points again. This one might be Gibraltar first to like 8 points or so.
Are we gonna tie on this map? Are we going into a game 8? Are we going into a control to finish out the series?
All right, producer says it's impossible to tie an escort. I just want to point out that is entirely a lie. Where the doors open between the points, there is an instance where the payload moves automatically, and you can tie. So chat, don't listen to the man in my ears. Don't listen to the voices in my head.
To the man
you can tie a payload. I've tied payload one time, and I've seen it on Fresh Nuts many times. I'm talking to the producer still.
No, he's talking to me in my head. I'm just communicating. That's the level that we're at right now. Yelk and I are just going back and forth. No, he's talking to the producer. I feel like this is gonna be it. All of the chips are on the line. It's gonna come down to who has the better offense here, and we're gonna see Xavius back on the Tracer. I love to see it. I've wanted to see it all series consistently. Sacred End is gonna go onto the Ash. This Bob could be massive for this push.
Ash has great control of these sight lines and the high ground, can always get up there with a coach gun, lands that dynamite in onto Trev. Trev has to use that recall and now can't be as aggressive as he's like to be all game long. Trying to escape now, but Sacred End lands the shot and they follow up. Trev sitting at 68 HP still, but he will get the mega health pack and will get out. Still though, Becker Although they're threatening this high ground, really no move has been made, and Fanshawe are just holding strong.
They're holding strong, but look at the ult charge from Sacred End, and then look at the ult charge from Matt. Both of these guys are very close to having their ult. I want to see the Bob come out from Sacred End as soon as it's available because they really need to push their advantage here. The team looking to regroup. Becker on the back foot because they have someone on point. They're just not quite there to get to him. Spark actually going to find his way out. I didn't think he was going to make it out. He did, and that is a testament to the support line on Becker. Bob coming out.
Sacred End still controlling this high ground. Bob pushing the cart on the low ground. Nate able to kill Matt. That is the carry. DPS again taken down. Once Matt is dealt with, it seems to be easy work from there, but Trev trying to make it as hard as possible, landing that pulse bomb on the Sacred End before getting taken down by the Bob. Still the 1 meter left on first point, and it is not enough for Fanshawe. Becker collect, and they've got nearly 5 minutes up on that clock.
Yeah, Becker, we saw Fanshawe take that point with only a minute left. Becker took it with, 2.5 minutes. So Becker already, we're talking about pace and tempo a lot. They're really picking up that pace for themselves and making sure that they're making Fanshawe play to their speed because it's becoming unmatched at this point. Xavius sitting up on this ship here with the pulse bomb is going to find him. It is not. However, Nape has a Diva Bomb of his own. Gonna drop it on point. Gonna find Acrio, and Sacredin's gonna find Matt. It's gonna be up to Trev to find some value for Fanshawe in this fight. Or Becker's just gonna roll through it as Effie's now taken out too.
We just have not talked enough about Nape in this game. The Diva for Becker has been somewhat slept on. Obviously, the Diva Bombs have been huge. I've seen Nape eat multiple pulse bombs thrown out from Trev. Has to shut down the Echo in the sky. The busiest member on this team for sure, keeping this game relatively close. Speaking of close, the time banks absolutely not. Becker are going to have 5 minutes going into third point, but Fanshawe has made final stands before in this match, and they could whittle that time bank down heavily.
They do have the solid hold at the end. It's going to come down to whether or not Becker is able to get a full wipe. And that was a crazy shield that we saw from Spark on Moon's Diva Bomb, denying any kills from it. Securin is going to take out Acrio. Matt finding Sacred End. That's going to be unfortunate for Becker's push, but Nape finding the value on Efi, and Xavier's going to take out Moon again. We're hearing the ball come out on point. No one's able to get there. Oh, and he is going to be purple, living on his last leg. Is he going to get out? Looks like he is. Spark is not going to commit, but they are going to make it to this final corner. And check it out. Sacred End putting his hands together, calling the bless because he's got Bob in his back leg.
Nuke, everyone knows what the buddy system is, and it seems like everyone is Securin's buddy. Always making sure that this Ana has a partner to help him through these fights. Another pulse bomb eaten by a Diva in this game. This time it's Moon making a case for themselves. Trev and Matt coming back in. Matt with the remake kill with the copy Diva. You'll love how that patch just came out and already have casted like 6 or 7 remake kills. Trev getting another pulse bomb kill. And the melee. This guy is finishing off everything on Tracer.
The remake kills are beautiful, and I honestly, a lot of people don't like the change. I think it's a fitting change for the champion, and I love to see it. Fanshawe holding the defense here, and we see now that Becker does not have any ultimates to sit on. So I'm thinking this next fight, that's what they're going to look for. Maybe if they can get a pick, they can do something from it, but it's going to be a battle of the ult economy going into this last 3 minutes of the push.
Trev comes in awfully aggro in on Sacred End, but can't quite get the one clip. Goes in again from the sky. This is a Tracer coming from the skybox. This guy has some seriously fancy movement. He'll have to use it to escape Yuchi now, but he's able to do just that. Nape and Sacred End go down. The trades are not just trades. They're all one-sided. Spark able to find one, but that is certainly not going to be enough to keep Becker in this fight. Going down one by one, having a tough time getting out of the spawn. Good thing they had 5.5 minutes on the clock, because now they're going to have to figure out how to find their way with just under 3.
Yeah, and I guess that they do have Yuchi to play off of. He's got his ultimate. We are going to see the switch on Xavius. He is going to switch over to the Reaper, which could be a huge value for Becker, because honestly, Magic Cotter sitting has been a huge push for Fanshawe. He's at 80% ult, and if Reaper's able to shut him down, that could be everything. We're gonna hear the ult come out from Brig, the rally coming together with the squatting up, hitting on point. They're looking to push in. The ult's coming out, not gonna find anyone. Spark, seeing what we do best. He's getting those picks with those fire strikes, securing, taking out Acrio. And are we seeing Becker pull it together? I don't know, because Matt sitting on his Echo ult, and we know he's gonna do something. Switching over to the Ryan, he's swinging around, 37%. Oh, and he's gonna get knocked out.
And the High Noon deals with him after he comes out of that copy as well. Sacred End taking care of him, securing, finding the kill onto Acrio. The support's getting involved heavily in the kill feed now. Diva Bomb up over the top to finish off this map. 0.5 meters left to push it for Becker. And they've got a ton of time on the clock in comparison to Fanshawe. Map finished at least the first time around. I mean, Nuke, we're 7 maps deep in this series. It is only fitting that we head to overtime.
I'm telling you right now, Yelk, I don't know what to do with myself right now. This is absolutely wild. And what we're seeing, what you've been witnessing is a masterclass in adaptation from Becker. Becker is doing a great job. All series, we've seen Matt be the absolute menace in the backline, getting an insane amount of kills on Echo when ulting. He switched to Echo, he switched over to the Ryan and the ult, and immediately got stopped. And then the High Noon came out, took him out immediately. If that's not adaptation and recognizing what the issue is and coming up with a strategy to take it out immediately, I don't know what it is. I don't know. What I do know is they have a minute to push. They're going to have to make it a very long ways to this first point. They got the whole under the bridge part and then around the corner, whereas Becker has a cool 2 minutes and 17 seconds to push on their side.
Yeah, and like we said, this one is tieable. Matt actually just said in chat that he wouldn't mind going to a map 8. And I don't know about you, Nuke, but we are about to be casting into tomorrow if you're on Eastern time. This one started at 9 tonight.
Yeah, and it's been a wild set. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. This has been a phenomenal set and one to go down in the books for the NECC. Really, if you guys are looking for any of the action, go watch any of the Twitch matches from this past week. They've all been best of 7s. It's all been phenomenal action. Matt gonna get stunned off of Sacred End's Cree. We are seeing Trev on the Widowmaker. Not gonna find any value as Nape is gonna take him out very early.
Oh my god, if you are Fanshawe, you cannot let this spawn camp be so effective. Nape is around the outside here, really far away from everything on the side of Fanshawe, staying away from damage, keeping a full 600 HP, and you can see them just poking out of this doorway in this spawn room. And they're able to contest the payload from here, and they're just gonna set up shop, committing ultimates as well, really allowing Fanshawe no daylight here on Gibraltar, trying to take away as much of the map as possible. And even if they're not able to win this fight, Nuke, they've already whittled this game down into overtime.
I don't know. I feel as though they're going to win this fight. We've seen the entire series. Becker has opted to play back the entire time. Even on Junkertown, we were talking about it earlier, they played back and opted to not really play aggressively on that first point. What we just saw was a massive switch up in their strategy, and I felt like they did that for a reason. Fanshawe was not expecting them to spawn camp on this first point, but they did, and all they're looking for now is a clear. If they're able to take their hefty wipes, wipe the table off, this could be all she wrote. Matt looking for a dive in, and the Diva Bomb is going to connect on Acrio and take Matt out of the Sacred End with the massive Eye Noon on Efi. Oh no, the freeze coming out, and they are trapping Fanshawe on point.
Ultimates from Becker, making this payload impossible to stand on for Fanshawe. They've got to commit to it, and they're frozen up. That blizzard from Xavius could just well end this game, but the Diva Bomb is going to be there for Moon to remech and stay in this fight, stay on the payload, frozen up again, but clinging to some HP. Supports are back in the mix now for Fanshawe, but the beat has been dropped. Yuchi singing their favorite song. Becker trying to sing the favorite song all the way to the house. Shatter coming through from Spark, stunning 4. I thought we were going to see kills there, Nuke, but we just saw none.
Where was the follow-up?
Otter with the Wrecking Ball mines, and that is everywhere. Fanshawe trying to keep this payload moving. It seems like they might get it going, but I'm not sure how much farther this one gets before Becker puts the final stop to it.
Oh, no. As we see Fanshawe pushing it on the last point, they are gonna get it. Now, they do have to stay on. They do have 4 on the clock now, 4 points to themselves, and this is going to be a very hard push for them. When we saw Spark with the massive Earthshatter taking down 4, I thought that was all she wrote. But no one was there to follow up, and that's what makes the value on Ryan so valuable.
Wow.
Trev, the Pulse Bomb is going to find Securin's field as soon as he pops it out. The Kamehameha coming out from Efi, and the ults are dropping left and right. Becker looking for a desperate clear here.
It's going to be tough. They just don't quite have the ultimates, but demecking Moon is going to be massive. There's really no way for Moon to reset here on Gibraltar. No map they can find a way to jump off of, so they're just going to be Baby Diva for this point. Not close to the mech at all. Can't go back to spawn. It's essentially a 6 versus 5 for Becker. Now is their time to put an end to this round. Already here in overtime, the tanks are getting back out. Nuke, this is going to be one colorful fight. It's going to start with the Wrecking Ball mines from Magic Otter. The tanks going now for the engage. The high noon gets popped from the catwalk. Matt able to demech Nape. Lands the headshot as well. The paparazzi with the flash. The Peacekeeper with the headshot. That should keep the payload pushing. 3 minutes left to finish off the second point. And it looks like Fanshawe just might be able to do it.
I think that's going to be it. I mean, they have 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It's going to be a matter of how long they can stall here for the team to come back. That's going to be it. Wow. Fanshawe holding the point, holding their ground, and looking to make this a 6-3 series. I don't know what to do if we get to that point, but Sacred End now has his ultimate and may be able to high noon long enough to get them all, get the clear that they need. It's going to be a matter of whether or not Nape is going to keep him alive when he tries it. We're hearing it come out.
Sacred End lets it fly, gets bounced up. The Diva Bomb comes in. That's going to take down Yuchi. Sacred End falls as well. Fanshawe's going to keep this payload moving. Nearing the finish line of the third point. They're already at the final corner, and they really just might collect 6, Nuke. If we end up with Fanshawe throwing up 6 on the board with the smaller of the 2 time banks, wow, that's the most impressive attack they could have possibly hoped for.
That's the #1 seed for you. That's the, we talked about it earlier, the gusto and the guts coming out from Fanshawe. They're showing it, they're berating it, they want that trophy. They're not letting it go to waste. Matt looking for a high noon of his own. He's not gonna find anything though, and Securin gonna knock him out with the beam. Xavius getting a kill on Efi as well with the pulse bomb of her own. Magic Cotter getting the mines on point, trying to get the point cleared so that Becker's not able to push him off. And this is looking very dangerous for Becker.
It definitely is. The beat drop coming out now from Yuchi keeps him in this just a little bit longer. Members are back out now. Securin gets the kill onto Accio, but Yuchi goes down to Matt. The Diva Moon is desuited. Securin goes down as well, though. Becker left without supports. We've seen that matter so little in fights so far this game, as it's gonna be Sacred End popping off on McCree, and he's the last one standing. That is one empty payload. And there's going to be 5 points taken for Fanshawe, but hey, all we've got to see is Becker complete the map, and they're going to be our Champions Division champions.
That's so much easier said than done, Yoker. That's so much easier said than done. This is such a hard map. I'm honestly completely floored that Fanshawe was able to push it that long and stay consistently on point, have someone there and fight with the 2 to 3 that they needed to keep it pushing, keep it rolling. But like we alluded to earlier, this is the team that snowballs. This is the team that steamrolls. This is the team that's ready. And Becker's gonna have to pull something out of the playbook. If they have anything in game 7 for this situation, it's time to pull it out. And as I say that, we may see it. We may see their secret weapon, or maybe it's a kind of a Hail Mary pick, as Xavius is now looking to make an interesting pick of his own.
Yeah, and I've seen what Xavius is doing here before. You're going to see them put up a symmetric teleporter from the spawn high ground across to that building that Becker was spawn camping in last round. That's going to set up Securin on this Ana and Sacred End on this Ashe to have a very open angle to dissect this defense. There it is. There's the teleporter.
Oh, wow.
Fanshaw's ready for it, man. Moon hits him with a haymaker. Sacred End is no more. Going to rethink that strategy.
Oh no, and both healers are back behind the building. No one can put out healing mainly on the team. That's going to be detrimental for the team in the front. Matt's going to take out Yuchi in the backline, and this first push not looking good from Becker. I'm going to be quite honest, Yelk. I don't know if Spark is going to be able to do this with Winston. We need the Rhine plays. The hammer has to come down here because I don't know if we're seeing enough value on the dive.
I'm not gonna lie, Nuke. I gotta disagree with you on that one. I think that they're invested in all of Watch Point Gibraltar, and this is a map that has way too many high grounds to ignore. So I think Spark, unfortunately for him, has to be on this hero. They've got to find a way to make it work here in overtime. Trev, though, is going unanswered in backline, finding Squishy after Squishy, always focusing down that right target. And in the meantime, his team is staying safe in their own backline, using natural cover. Acrio back there, hugging that wall to stay alive. Not able to find Xavius on his exit. Xavius being very aggressive, going for that kill, but in the end, will lose the duel to the DPS. Matt does go down on the high ground. Sacred End landing a very clutch shot, and the payload will start to progress.
Payload progressing. Spark was the only one that had to ult there, which is phenomenal. He was just trying to get him off of payload, and now we're seeing 4 ults on the side of Becker College to the 3 ults on the side of Fanshawe. Almost 4 if you count Matt's High Noon that's going to be coming online here very soon. Looking at this last corner point, you know, Becker really has to do something outside of their comfort zone, and that is keep the pressure on. Not just winning these short fights, but really testing the endurance, pushing it out. Bob is on the corner, trying to look for a solid angle here, but Magic Cotter's gonna find Xavius. Nape with the massive Diva bomb. The mech almost taking out, not sure how it didn't find Matt. Matt's gonna fall nonetheless, and they are pushing the advantage. 5 meters left until they need to push it, and Becker looking for what they need.
Yeah, and you can really just see Yuchi how much they can do in keeping Securin in that backline stable. As these dive tanks get so far away from the backline, Yuchi is able to throw out armor packs, get healing to them if they need to, but most importantly, provide armor and healing to Securin as well. And that Ana is really what provides the burst healing that gets these tanks through these fights. And we do see both teams on mobile tanks, on the Ana, on the Brig, on a Tracer, and on a hit scan. So pretty much the same comp, just 2 different styles of it, and that's kind of what I expect from these teams. They're both clearly very good teams, but they've got different styles in everything they do.
It's going to come down to coordination on point. And you're right, they do have 2 completely different styles. They're going to have to play to the advantage. Spark finding 2 in the plane, and he didn't even need to use the ult. They still have it for this last corner push, and oh my god, Yelk, we may see them make it to the 3rd point. Is Becker going to go all the way? Chat, what your thoughts are, because if you have any moment in your life to pog, this is
there
it.
Ever a time to spam a beverage, it's right now. 5-5 on map 7, Watch Point Gibraltar. Overtime's been going on for the last minute and a half. This one is wild. We got ultimates coming online for the last fight. Magic Otter with our Wrecking Ball Mines. Fanshawe love to start fights this way. But Nuke, right now, they're just taking their time setting up around this corner because they know it is do or die. This fight means more than anyone else in this entire match. This is what endurance comes into play in these best of 7s. Here comes Magic Otter. That mine is loose. Can it find any kills? None yet. Trev able to stick down Yuchi. That is huge. Matt High Noons the Bob as well. That gets the DPS ultimate out of the way, but it's going to be Xavius. Counter picking on the Magic Otter. Moon goes down as well. 5 versus 4 in the favor of Becker. Nape lets the Diva Bomb out, and that's going to collect 2 again. Double kills for Diva Bombs all day long. We're running the Thursday special on the double Ks with the Diva Bombs.
I don't know what to say at this point. What hasn't been said? Are we watching collegiate? Is this even collegiate Overwatch? Because it does not feel like it. Oh, the Nano's coming out on Spark. Spark is holding the front door, and he's not letting him out. He's not giving them the roll. This is it. We're in overtime. It's the last bit We're seeing the ultimate come out. It's on point. The drop is coming. Matt switching
Matt's on
over to the
Bastion.
Bastion, but it's not going to be enough. Is Becker going to push it in? No one's going to be able to contest. Never mind, the ball's going to make it back in time. I need a second to breathe. What is even happening now?
Oh, it's gonna happen. Becker's gonna do it. It's gonna be off the back of Securin's Nanos and the Antis in a full team effort, but they are your champions. GG's in the chat from everyone. Insane best of 7 series all the way, the full distance, and with the play of the game, it's gonna be Spark, and it's gonna be a very electric Tesla coil coupled by a nano boost from Securin, bouncing around in this spaceship. And listen, Becker deserves all the fun in the world, but we got to talk about just how great of a season Fanshawe had, making it this far, losing one map in the regular season, and then Becker with hands down the biggest upset of the conference. Nuke, you got your head in your hands right now. Was this the craziest game you've ever casted?
Hands down.
Yeah.
And I have casted a lot of Overwatch here for the NECC. I casted all last season. I casted a majority of this season. I coach Overwatch. This is the craziest set I have ever seen. Ever. Even watching the Overwatch League, it's never been this close in a best of 7 series with so much on the line coming down to the wire. I am juiced. When are we starting the next best of 7? When is it? We're not done, right?
Nuke, I hate to break it to you, man, but I think we might be done for the spring after that. That match was so long, I think half those players graduated, so we got to get a move on at some point.
You're 100% right, Yelk. And wow, Becker College. I'm so proud to say this. And Fanshawe gave a hard fight. I almost thought it was going to be their series to win, but on Blizzard World, Becker said, no, we're stopping it here. And as of now, winning Watch Point Gibraltar, hitting the 6 point, Becker College is your NECC Champions Division champions for spring 2021. And they are retiring that trophy.
Man, it feels good if you're on Becker Esports to always have something to remember. Of course, that program ends on this note. That is the nail in the coffin, and it is a golden nail with a crown on top, some roses to boot, because what a way for a program to go out as champions. I think we're just going to be going straight into an interview with the victors. Becker,
before we get into the interview, okay, Yelk and I have been throwing our voices for 3 hours. So if you loved the action that you saw tonight, go to Twitter, follow at NECC Games. You need to follow that account because that's where we're going to bring you all the action for the NECC. And if you're feeling spicy, you can follow me on Twitter at Chase Newcomb or look me up on my website, chasenewcomb.com. Yelk, where's your shout-outs? Where can they find you?
my shout out, my only little plug I got is my Twitter and Twitch are both AltCharge, and I cast games. I like Overwatch a lot. I like other esports as well. Hey, if you've got an old school RuneScape reference for me, I'm here for it too. But Nuke, it has been an insane spring. Just completely ramped up from the fall. Every aspect of the NECC has just improved pretty much 10 times over since the fall.
Exploded.
It was a good ship at the start, but now it is just a cruise that can't be stopped, and we're going to be partying all fall and all spring next year as well. So make sure you come back for all the college esports action.
So is it set up? Are we throwing it over to the desk? I know these people want to hear from their champions. All right. It sounds like they're set up, and the people are going to hear from the champions. I've been Chase Newcomb. This has been Yelkrib, and we're going to throw it over to the caster's desk, and you may see us.
You may.
And there you have it, Becker able to hold on. Oh my goodness, that one went as far as it could go. Round 3. Fanshawe took it all the way, almost within a hair's breadth of the 3rd point for the 2nd time. And then Becker, in overtime themselves, takes it just far enough. Oh my God. I don't think we could have, without going to the extra map, I don't think we could have had a longer Overwatch map 7 there, Jacob.
That was a classic. That was awesome. I mean, we were talking before we came on. We've had 19 finals, and that was probably the best moment of all 19, quite frankly. Your heart breaks for Fanshawe, but that was unbelievable. What a classic, Jim.
And we've got the casters in here, and I'm not just saying this because they're in here. I'm not just saying it because they're in here. But at the start of round 4, one of the casters, I think it was Nuclear, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, said he didn't like the Winston. said he didn't like the Winston, and Spark went off on the Winston. I think at one point he had a quad, maybe a 5K, coming out of the airplane at point number 2. What a crazy man on the Winston at the end. The Diva bombs at the end coming out of Nape. The 2 tanks there from Becker saying, we refuse to lose. The DPS doing everything they needed to do. And the supports just trying to keep everyone up so they could do their jobs. Perfect Overwatch there in round 4. Absolutely flawless. After what could have been a disaster as they came out of spawn, and it could have been a disaster. They were too split up. The supports were nowhere near where they needed to be, and they brought it together. And they just proved that they weren't gonna go home without a fight. Chase, Yelkrib, do you guys have anything to say as we're trying to get Becker in here for interviews?
I need to defend myself. I was so wrong, because when your name is Spark and you have a Tesla cannon, what can go wrong, right? And he popped off on that Winston. He even got play of the game in that last map. And imagine, it is your last time playing for your college. You win the championships, and you get the play of the game on a hero that isn't even your main. That has to be such a good feeling.
Just great play there from everybody, every member there of Becker. And let's not take anything away from Fanshawe. They pushed with less time all the way to that point. It was basically sitting on top of 3rd point. The winning square was basically on top of 3rd point. It's not like Fanshawe made it easy. Fanshawe was there the entire way. And it came down to the fact that it looked like Becker finally said they were not going to let Matt beat them. They said, we're not going to let Matt beat us. All 6 members of Becker were like, where is Matt? That man is going to leave.
Yeah, Jim, it was really crazy how they answered him too, because it seemed to come from just multiple members like you guys were alluding to earlier, whether it was Sacred End or Nape or Securin, getting some damage in from the support slot. But Matt has been the biggest threat in Champions Division all spring long. Everyone has known it. Anytime Fanshawe has played, it's always been keep your eyes on Matt, keep your eyes on Trev. Shutting down these DPS has been an impossible task for every team this season. And then Becker finds a way to do it in the biggest game of the spring. That's incredible.
Crazy. Absolute craziness at Watch Point Gibraltar. Show of hands in Twitch chat. Who thought we were going to end it all at Watch Point Gibraltar? I'm saying anybody who raises their hand is lying right now. I'll say that. It looks like we're getting members of Becker in here.
Wow.
Yeah, we have a lot of people in this channel right now. A lot of people here. Number 1, starting right off, congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't know where to start. Chase, you throw a question out.
I don't even know where to begin. Tell me. Okay, actually, I have a great point, and I really need to know from you guys. After map 5, when you saw, you lost the previous 3 maps, Volskaya, Junkertown, and Oasis to Fanshawe, what was going through your guys' head? What was the mental going into Blizzard World?
So, I mean, a lot of it is we are not ever going to play in another Overwatch league together. We have nothing to lose. When we're in that situation, every other team, and to be honest, us in the past, it's like, oh, well, this sucks. But, even if we lose this one, there'll be another one. There's not another one. We have to. We have to show up and take every fight seriously, and there's no room for the lack of mental.
100%. That totally makes sense. And when you have nothing to lose, those are some of the scariest situations you find people in. Even in the cliche movies with, the Westerns, you saw the McCrees on both teams. You guys were really out there and showing that you were forced to be reckoned with. So was there any point in the series where you were shaking in your boots? Or was it all just, we're going to have fun and we're going to give it our all?
I personally was a little shaken when they managed to get all the way to third point there on Gibraltar.
That OT push was pretty. That OT push
they played their hearts out there on their attack.
Yeah, that was scary. I tried to play it off and just like keep normal comms, but I was like, ooh, this is kind of rough.
All right, I want to ask Spark, and I'm not going to name names. But somebody at the very early point of round 4 on Gibraltar called out your choice of hero, and I want to know.
I defended you.
Why Winston? Why Winston?
Over the what? Where was this?
Over the Reinhardt.
It was me, Spark. I know how valuable you are on that Reinhardt, man. I've seen you tear through backlines with the Rein. I just was questioning the Winston because I thought the Rein just had so much more value. So getting these people off my back, I gotta hear it. What is your defense here?
This was which map? This was on the Gibraltar?
Gibraltar.
Right, okay. So a lot of it is when I am playing with this team, I am not playing to be the star. I am not playing to dominate the kill feed. I am not playing to have the casters call me the hard carry. I am playing so that everyone on my team, not just me, has a chance to step up and get a team kill. And sure, I trust myself like crazy when I am playing Reinhardt. I can make crazy plays. And thank you for pointing that out. I'm glad that I've got eyes on me. But there are times when the Reinhardt is not giving what someone else on my team needs. And sometimes I have to take a step back and let someone else carry. And a lot of the time when I play Winston, that's what it's for.
Now, to be fair, you say that, and then I think every member of Fanshawe who was in that airplane with you would disagree that you don't hard carry on the Winston. I think you got 4, maybe 5 right there. I think there would be a lot of disagreement about not carrying on the Winston at that point.
Well, that would be Evan Securin, our awesome shot caller. He made the call to go for the Nano Monkey engage in the plane, and that's all him. I did the timing. He did everything else there. So,
Yell Crab, what do you got for him?
Oh, well, I was happy to hear that Securin is the shot caller because I was noticing time and time again where Trev and Matt are just menaces on DPS. They really don't let the backline have any fun all game long, but it seemed like anytime there was pressure on you, Securin, you must have been screaming for help because the response was so fast every single time. Is that what it was like, or are you a little more calm, cool, and collected when you're given comms?
I mean, I try to be calm and collected, but I mean, when I got the entire team on me, I gotta say something.
Oh,
so.
Man screaming.
Yeah, towards the end couple maps, I was definitely screaming.
Well, the response was there. I was seriously so blown away by the level of peel that the entire team just provided the support. So, really great job. I mean, that's how you win a championship against a #1 seed.
All right, guys, this was the story at the start of the day. Your guys' last collegiate match, possibly the last time you guys play together competitively. I'm gonna hand the floor over to you guys. Usually I don't. It's risky for me to hand it over to the team, but I'm gonna hand it over to you guys. What do you guys want to say going out here on top? What do you guys want to say?
First off, I just want to shout out our coach Shifty.
Oh yes.
Honestly, none of this would have been possible without him. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT coach.
Best collegiate coach there is.
Without a doubt, hands down.
Best coach.
The best non-player esports person in any position I've ever worked with.
Absolutely. True.
Thank you so much, everyone.
All right, Jacob, I believe you have something for these people, Jacob.
Hold on. Whoa, Jacob, I got to cut you off. They all just shouted out Shifty. Shifty, we have not heard anything from you. What has it been like ending
Shifty's here. My bad. I didn't see Shifty was in chat. My apologies, Shifty.
I was going there too,
okay.
Chase. That's funny.
Shifty, I gotta know, man. You know, you've coached obviously an amazing and tremendous team. They gave you the shout out at the end. I really want to overstep the panel here and hear your thoughts now.
Let me put it this way. I don't know if you know this or not. I used to coach the British Hurricane, and I coached them as the head coach. We won contenders, and in a game 7, I think in the exact repeat map differential as this match was, going into contenders, winning contenders with future Overwatch League players was nothing compared to this. Nothing. This was so much better. I am so much more proud of each and every one of these players. They played with more heart than I've ever seen a team play with ever. And I'm just so happy that we were able to bring this, especially with the circumstances with Becker, but just with this team, because they absolutely deserved it.
100%, man. You have me over here tearing up. You guys are the best underdog story that has happened in collegiate, and this is one for the books. Throwing it back to the panel, Jacob. I think you have something for these.
Could I real quick say one other thing?
Go ahead. Absolutely.
All right. So I wouldn't normally make a point of doing this, but given that this is Becker's last year and I want to make it as special as possible, I want to point out that some of the players on this team concurrently are also playing on an Apex Legends team, and we are also going into the finals for that next week. And it is our goal to prove that we are not one-trick ponies, even across games, that we can go out with a bang. 2 different esports, the same players. You can look up the Apex Spark series and watch Division B playoffs next Friday, and we'll be there.
Awesome. That's awesome. Hey, I'm going to say a few words here, and I'm not going to let you guys go without just handing you a trophy. I'm going to do that in a second. We started this effort over a year ago in the NECC. And for those that don't know, we would not be here without the support, the vision, and the guidance of Becker College and their leadership. And our first ever event was a showcase where we formally announced our intention to sponsor esports, and it was hosted at Becker College. And Shifty was one of our panelists. And it was a resounding success. It was our kickoff event. Our producer, Caleb Glooby, was massively important in it. And I just want to say thank you, because this organization would not be possible where it is. Chase said he was tearing up. I'm trying not to do so, quite frankly, because this is my conference. This is my physical conference. These are the people that I work with on a daily basis. And what's happened to Becker College is hard. And my heart breaks for all of you. And I'm truly proud of what you're able to accomplish. To watch this group compete, to watch you win a title, add in the fashion in which you did it, was truly, truly special. I thank you. And more important than that, I congratulate you. I'm going to hand you this trophy. Heck, I might just drive it out there. I'm about half an hour away. I'm going to be in your campus Sunday for another reason. And I'm just going to give this to you guys and congratulate you. We're going to get you everything. But this is bigger than a trophy. This is bigger than a t-shirt. This is bigger than a headset. This is about Becker College. And it will not be forgotten, and it will never go away because of what you guys have done in representing that institution on this stage, the way in which you've conducted yourself, the manner in which you've competed night in and night out throughout this conference. We couldn't be more proud to be associated with you. And I just want to say, from me and from everyone on behalf of the NECC, thank you.
Thank you. Really, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Guys, congratulations.
All right, and unless my producer tells me different, I think that will do it for the evening. I think that will do it for the finals. And it's been a ride, Jacob. It has been a ride.
I'll say this. I don't want to take anything away from Fanshawe and what they accomplished this year, but if you could have written a better storybook ending after 19 finals over the last 5 days, I don't know what it would have been.
No.
I literally, we had to move this game. We never intended for this game to be tonight. We had to move this game because we had 5 Overwatch finals. We couldn't stream them all in one day. So these guys and Fanshawe were saying, we'll move. We're good. We're okay with that. Here it is. It's the final map. It's the final game. It's the final championship of our spring season, our first ever season, our year 0. Just a huge thank you. Unbelievable storybook ending. It will not be forgotten. Chase said it great. Yelk said it great during the stream. What it means, how perfect it could have gone. It's a storybook. It's a movie ending. It's a walk off into the sunset moment. Guys, congratulations. Jim, thank you. And it was just a tremendous pleasure to watch and witness.
Thank you all so much.
I was waiting to see if Becker wanted to say something.
We're still just in
It's
the glow.
a little speechless, honestly.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it. Jacob, we are going to have a recap on Sunday to recap all of the finals action, correct?
Hope so.
Yep, we are looking forward.
Jim, if you get your act together, we'll run it, baby.
All right, we are looking forward to hopefully, knock on wood, having a finals recap on Sunday night. Pay attention to social media for more information on that one. Hopefully, we'll be able to grab interviews with members of all of our different titles. So you don't want to miss that. But for right now, I'm going to sign off for everybody here because we're going to try to get out of here at a decent hour tonight for the first time in a couple of days. For Jacob, who's been next to me, for all of our casters this week who have been tremendous, for Caleb Glooby and everybody else behind the scenes who do everything that make me, Jacob, and the casters look good. Thanks everybody for watching. Thank you everybody that worked on it. Just thank everybody. Why not? Everybody's good for something. This has been NECC Esports coverage of the finals. I'm Jim Lowry. Thank you for watching.